or in her detailing of what happened that was inconsistent with that claim, that there was no decision making?
Yeah, this is difficult, but important to say that there are just many ongoing decisions that have to be made to accomplish a killing like this in 18 to 20 minutes. For example, why the basement? Who among the children goes first? What do you say to the kids to keep them from panicking? There are other examples, but
Yeah.
Why the basement?
And so what types of decisions, without getting to what she might have said or thought, what are some types of decisions that had to be made to effectuate the strangulation of the children?
well, I tried to give some examples a minute ago, and I don't want to go too.
All right, hold on. Just answer the question. All right. Don't comment on the rulings of the court. Just answer the question, please. Okay.
If I could rephrase.
Yeah.
Doctor, the choice of where to strangle the children, does that have to be a choice of where that happens?
Yes.
The
My
decision
cat is
of
pressing
how
the
to
buttons
strangle
on
them,
my
is that a decision that needs to be made?
Yes.
What to use to strangle the
Oh my
children,
God.
is that a decision that has to be made?
Sorry, I have to object.
No, overruled. Oh,
What to use to strangle the children, is that a decision that has to be made?
Yes, it is.
The order in which to strangle the children, is that a decision that has to be made?
That's another example of the decision. Yes. Decisions.
And the way in which to kill herself, were those decisions that had to be made?
Yes, they were.
Now, you said that this peritraumatic disassociation seems like it would be a sign of psychosis, but isn't. Why isn't it?
My cat, I
It's
can't
actually
believe that.
something that is much more commonly experienced in that kind of set of circumstances than psychotic symptoms.
And yesterday, when you went through the two options that you considered, that this was psychosis with command hallucinations or suicide with altruistic filicide, is your testimony that it's either or it's one or the other?
Got to get my beep
It's
ready.
my testimony that those were the two possibilities that seemed to have some
was
evidence.
Littles this
But at
time.
the end of talking to her, testing, reviewing all the information, doing the collateral interviews, everything I did as a part of this evaluation, the evidence much more strongly, in my opinion, supported the second explanation, which was the serious suicide attempt accompanied by
Oh, Lord.
killing the children out of love.
I need to get my
Now,
beeper on.
you interviewed the defendant on 2 days, the first day and the third day, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And were there any differences in her demeanor or her way of answering questions
We love
between the
TikTok
first
shop.
day and the third day?
Yes, I interviewed her and worked with her on testing for 3 days. And during the first and the second day, she was
Balls.
quite attuned to the question. Her recollection was good, even considering that we were more than 3 years away from some of the events in question. She had, I thought, a very good memory for dates and medications and dosages and times and other relevant details. And she continued to be attentive
Melissa
and
on
responsive,
YouTube.
good attention, concentration, that sort of thing on the second day. On the third day, when we were talking about mental state at the time of the offense and the circumstances of what was going on with the alleged offense, she appeared to me much more cautious and guarded.
And can you give us some examples of that?
She more frequently said, "I don't remember, I don't recall," that sort of thing during the third day than the second or the first. For one example, I asked her about
Uh-oh, commercial. Thank you for the treat on YouTube, Sherry. Thank you for the treat. While we're in commercial, like tap, 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 good morning. We are trying to wrap up with this crazy
Is
witness.
what risk
I don't
she
know if we're
wore
going to
on.
make it. He's probably about to cause another
This was on the
mistrial.
third day, and she said, I don't remember.
Motion.
And did you also ask her about her statement at Brigham and Women's when she woke up and said she was horrified?
I did. Now, that statement was not a statement so much as it was a written. She woke up in having regained consciousness that evening. She was intubated, so she couldn't speak. But they asked her questions, and she wrote down the answer, and they asked her, how are you feeling or what's your mood? And what she said was, what she wrote was horrified.
And when you asked her about that on that third day of interviewing, what was her response?
She said, I don't remember writing that, and I don't remember why I would have been horrified.
And did you also ask her about the statement she made at Brigham and Women's, either verbally or on the writing it down, about how she said that one of the reasons she killed the children was because she thought they would suffer?
Where are you? Are you in my report there?
Referring to the records at Brigham and Women's where she
Well,
told.
no objection, Your Honor. She's deleting the record.
I hadn't heard that.
She can refer to where she's looking to
Stella?
direct his attention, if you review those.
You reviewed the Brigham and Women's records, correct?
I did, yes.
And the portion where it says that she told a treatment provider that she had to kill the kids to kill herself because the kids would suffer. Do you recall that statement?
Yes, I do recall that statement.
And when you asked her
Oh,
about it on the
pre-worded.
third day of interviewing her, did she recall that statement?
Yes, that statement in Brigham and Women's to the attending psychiatrist was made in the context of her thinking about what happened. Well, let me see if I can find it here. Yeah, she was asked about what the voice had said on that afternoon, and her response was, it had said, you have to kill yourself so you can kill the kids. It also said the kids will suffer without you. And when I asked her about that, whether the voice had said that, she said, no, the voice only said, this is your last chance. You have to kill the kids so you can kill yourself.
So I'm going to move to strike this, not respond.
No, overruled.
So the two differences where at Brigham, she's saying the voice said, you have to kill yourself so you can kill the children, and that the children would suffer without her, versus after that when she says the voice only said, you have to kill the kids so you can kill yourself. Is the fact that she's giving two different statements significant in your evaluation?
As I talked about in my testimony yesterday, when there is inconsistency, that's something that alerts me to the possibility of inaccuracy. And two statements that are mutually exclusive or inconsistent suggest to me that there is a problem. One of them, at least, is not accurate.
Going to challenge you to get to 25,000.
Doctor, did you find any significance in your evaluation to the fact that she was able to complete a phone call with her husband during this time frame of killing the children and herself?
Yes, that was very unusual in my experience, to have
I would be
crucial time
nervous.
interrupted by something like a phone call, because one of the considerations there is that you then not only can document the time that it happened, and that helps be more precise about the time, but you also have whoever is on the other end of the phone. And this was her husband. When when he called her at 5:33, she didn't pick up, but she called back immediately at 5:34. And when I talked to him during the collateral interview, one of the things he said is that she sounded on the short call distracted and like she was in the middle of something, but it wasn't anything that struck him as that unusual. He said when she's home with 3 kids, she's always in the middle of something. So, that was one of the reasons that it was important. And then another reason, as I mentioned a minute ago, is it helps to establish a time frame. We know when her husband left the house, which was 5:15. We know when he came home, which was around 6 o'clock. And this is not quite in the middle of it, but close to that. And so it was unusual and valuable
Yeah,
and
this is the
important
Lindsay
in trying
Clancy
to
trial.
establish those
Yeah,
kinds of things.
Lindsay Clancy.
And when reviewing the records and talking to the defendant, did you notice any statements or behaviors that seemed to focus in on herself? Such as, for example, being future oriented.
Well, one of the things I noticed from the records at Brigham and Women's is that several days after she came in, there were comments from staff and in the notes about how she was a little bit more future oriented and thinking about what it would be like in the future, her life and that sort of thing. So that's one of the considerations that was in response to kind of thinking about herself and being oriented toward herself.
And is there any significance to that state of mind or those thoughts in your evaluation of her?
Well, I don't think that she was in any way over this or thinking only about herself.
Thank you for the
It's
floating heart
something
on
that
YouTube,
I
Melissa.
noticed when I evaluated her in April is that she is still grieving. She's still in mourning for those kids. And she used language like, I have lost everything and I don't want to be here. So I would not think of Lindsay Clancy as someone who is really self-centered or oriented only to herself. She is grieving her children.
And you mentioned yesterday the emphasis she had on control of thought and control of her life. How did that come into play in your evaluation in terms of what
They're
was
showing
done here?
Lindsay's face now, if y'all ain't watching. We're watching it together on YouTube.
One of the considerations is why she got to the point where she decided to take her own life. And she's an individual who, for most of her life, has been disciplined and liked to control things, like to work hard, like to accomplish things. And one of the things that was striking about what happened with her between October and January is that she seemed to be doing her best, talking to the doctors, talking to the therapists, working on trying to get things accomplished in terms of lessening the anxiety and getting the right medications. And it wasn't working, and she couldn't help make it work. She could not control that through hard work and discipline and so on. And that had to be very frustrating, and I think got her to the point where it was very difficult for her to actually think about not being hopeless and going on with her life and so on.
Now, doctor, did you form an opinion to a
Sherry,
reasonable
thank
degree
you.
of psychological
And Megan, thank you
certainty
for
as to
Silver
whether or not
Stars.
the defendant was suffering from a mental disease or defect at the time she killed her children?
I did, yes.
And what is that opinion?
That opinion
Abby,
is yes,
thank
she
you.
was.
Thank you
She
for the
was
spin seal,
experiencing
Abby.
bipolar II disorder, depressive symptoms, and there were other things that were exacerbating that, making it worse. One is the sleep problems and the probably the continued adverse reactions to medication and so on. But yes, in my opinion, she did have a mental disease or defect.
Melissa
on
sent a
January 20th.
clock it.
And doctor, to a reasonable degree of
Yay!
psychological
Thank
certainty,
you,
did you form an opinion as to whether or not the defendant appreciated the
You guys are being
criminality or
very kind to
wrongfulness
me
of her
today.
conduct when she killed her children?
I did, yes.
Easy on the
And
language.
at the end of my report, I was very careful about how I phrased this. And so,
Sustained. If you could just answer the question regarding your opinion.
So yes, you formed an opinion?
I did, yes.
And what is that opinion?
That opinion is that she retained an awareness of the illegality of killing others, including killing her children. Her moral awareness of the wrongfulness of this killing was influenced by her strong desire to die and, if she were dead, not to leave her. Some of this perception was realistic. For example, my children will suffer without me because they would have suffered, I think. And some of it was distorted. For example, nobody else can care for my children. But her awareness of the illegality and moral wrongfulness of such killing is best appraised by understanding these acts as a serious suicide attempt combined with altruistic filicide, killing her children out of love, rather than as a response to command hallucinations.
And did you
This is
form an
law.
opinion to a reasonable degree of psychological certainty
Live.
as to whether Ms. Clancy was able to conform her conduct to the requirements of the law when she killed her children?
Yes,
And what is that opinion?
that her capacity to conform her conduct to the requirements of the law is again best understood by considering the seriousness of her suicide attempt and her strong desire not to leave her children. She demonstrated such self-control throughout the day on January 24th, and her actions between 5:15 and 6 p.m. that afternoon were influenced by her depression and her hopelessness about her life and the desire to end the pain she had experienced since October. Although this depression and hopelessness influenced her decisions, she retained control over
Flash
whether,
go.
when, and how she carried it out,
40 roses.
and
Let's
the inclusion
go.
of her children.
And doctor, did you form an opinion to a reasonable degree of psychological certainty as to whether or not the defendant was criminally responsible when she killed her children?
Yes.
And what is that opinion?
It's one rose. It's one rose
My
per
opinion,
person. I need
my
40
clinical
different
opinion,
people to
since
say
I'm
one
not the
rose.
decision maker here, but my clinical opinion is that she was criminally responsible on January 24th.
One rose each.
Thank you.
40 people. Let's go.
Your Honor, I'd move to submit the PowerPoint for identification.
I'm sorry.
I'd move to submit the PowerPoint.
Oh, for identification. Okay, thank you. That may be done. Attorney Reddington?
Thank you.
Here we go. Thank you for using your stickers.
Sorry. Doctor, I'd just like to ask you about one of the things you just said to this jury that apparently stood out in your mind, and that would be the dichotomy of the difference between two statements that Lindsay made, one being, I believe, in the hospital, and you felt that there was a subsequent statement that was made by her that contradicted that or was different from that, and that would
Oh,
be
that's
after
over there
3
on
days
TikTok,
of
Sherry.
you and Mac.
I'm live on
testing
TikTok
her.
as well.
Is that right? Can you just say, is it right or wrong?
Mr. Reddington, it's not quite right.
Okay, why don't we do it this way? You
Yeah.
just told the jury that Lindsay made a statement to you at the conclusion of the 3 days that you and Mac were questioning her and testing her and interviewing her. Is that fair? Yes or no?
What I would say is,
Yes or no?
Me and macro ears,
no.
literally.
Did you tell this jury, in addition, that Lindsay made a different statement when she was in the hospital? Yes or no?
What I said to the jury
I'm
is,
asking you, sir, did you make that statement to this jury?
what I intended to
No,
say,
not what you intended. Can you answer my question? Yes or no?
no,
Now, is Dr. Helbrin aware of the concept of post-intensive care syndrome?
post-intensive care syndrome.
Yeah, PICS. It's called PICS.
No, I have not heard of post-intensive care syndrome.
Dr. Helbrin aware of when a person is coming out of major surgery and has been subject to anesthesia, that it is known that they have delusions, hallucinations, make statements that don't make sense. Are you aware of that, sir?
Yes, I'm aware of that.
And is that from your personal experience, professional experience? Because you didn't know what PICS was when I asked you, right?
Yes, it's not from my personal experience or my professional experience.
You
Get outta here.
received a notification
Patrick is
to-
innocent.
evaluate Lindsay Clancy on this criminal case from the district attorney's office, right?
Yes,
And do you recall when you received that notification?
it would have been sometime before January of 2025 because that's when I started reviewing the documents that they provided.
Okay, so January of 25, January of 26.
Yes, it's live.
And then in the spring of 26, you go to the Tewksbury Hospital with Mac and you interview Lindsay, right?
Correct.
So how many months is it from the time that you were appointed or requested or asked to help the DA's office to the time you saw Lindsay? How much time passed?
Probably about 18 months.
The
About a year
person
and a
on
half.
trial for it done it.
And how much time passed from that point going backwards to January of 23?
I'm not sure what the question is.
Okay, January of 23, you add a year, that's January of 24, right?
Yeah,
It's 1 year.
yeah,
January of 24, you add a year up to January of 25, that's 2 years, right?
yes.
January of 25 up to when you and Mac finally go out to Tewksbury to interview this young lady is how many months?
Well, it would be about 3 years.
Okay. And are you telling this jury that it's good, using the term loosely, medical?
You write the words. What if you could hear
Commercial.
them as a song? Go to suno.com, switch to custom mode, and paste in your lyrics.
We are
Then
being
describe
forced
the
to
sound.
watch it.
I'll go with
So for the next
soulful
30
R&B
seconds,
ballad, emotional
I
vocals,
want you guys
piano
to,
driven. Hit
tap,
create.
tap,
Suno
tap,
turns
tap,
your
tap, 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 tap. We are watching the Lindsay Clancy trial. We're being forced to watch a commercial. So I'm going to set today's live goal. I have not even done nothing with it. We can't get to the goal because we need to get this flash goal done. So I can't do anything until I have 40 roses. I need from about 30 different people 1 rose. If you haven't sent a rose yet, please do so we can get rid of the flash goal and get to the for real live go.
And have in mind January of 25 that you were retained. But and again, you know, normally this isn't an issue. Who cares? But how much money did you make on this case? As they want to ask my doctor. How much money did you make on this case?
That depends when I'm finished, but I mentioned earlier that I had spent 180 hours before coming to
How
Plymouth.
much money did you make on the case, Doctor? Simple.
Well, it's not that simple, but I'm being paid at $300 an hour.
Okay, so how much money did you make on the case?
Well, $300 an hour times 180.
What's your last billing?
I've been billing monthly, sir.
Okay, you must know what the total billing is up to this point, don't you?
I actually have not added it up.
How about you just give us your best estimate, Doctor?
Well, let's see. Probably up to this point, it's been about $54,000.
$54,000. And it will be more. right? When we get finished with you today, right? It'll be more.
Yes,
Okay. So you received from me by certified mail, video interview of Lindsay by my guy, Dr. Resnick, right?
correct.
You received the notes from Dr. Margaret Spinelli, right?
Yes,
You received the notes from my Dr. Paul Zeisel, right?
yes,
You received the
Hold on,
report
I'll be right back. My
that
cat
was prepared and submitted by Dr. Philip Resnick, right?
yes,
You received the report prepared and submitted by Dr. Margaret Spinelli, right?
yes,
And you received the report prepared by Dr. Zeisel, right?
yes.
And then I said, if you have any questions, give me a call, drop me a line, whatever, but we never talked until today, right?
That's correct.
All right. Now, you have a curriculum vitae, that talks about that you are a clinical psychologist, correct, as you've told us yesterday, right?
Yes.
Have you ever treated a woman in postpartum psychosis?
When I was a staff psychologist at the forensic service at Florida State Hospital,
When was that, please?
that was back in 1982.
82?
Yes. I had a therapy group which was comprised of women who had killed their children. They were severely mentally ill, and at that time, it was important to recognize the severity of their mental illness. And so I worked with them in a group at that time.
Okay. And this is 44 years ago?
Yes.
All right. And where was it?
It was at the Florida State Hospital in Chattahoochee, forensic unit, forensic service.
How many of these people did you have a chance to interview in group or whatever you did?
There were 4 or 5 in the group.
4 or 5. Okay. Well, you are also a forensic psychology expert working for Park Dietz and Associates, right?
I have an affiliation with Park Dietz and Associates, yes.
Yes, but that's basically, that's the letterhead that you have on all your stuff, right? Park Dietz and Associates, Inc. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. You know Mac, do you?
Do I know
Yeah.
Dr. Mack?
Yeah, Dr. Mack, yeah, the guy that was here testifying for the last 2 days, Friday and Monday. You know him?
Yes, I do know him,
All right.
yes.
And he works with Park Dietz as well, right?
I think he has the same kind of affiliation I do, which is we both have jobs and do things elsewhere, but we occasionally do
Yes.
cases in affiliation with Park Dietz and Associates.
Right. And continuing on, and if you have it, you can certainly take a look at it. Make sure I don't misrepresent anything on your V-Day, as you refer to it.
Gift gallery is
You also
open,
were
by the
involved
way.
with Giant Food Corporation. You do fitness for duty assessments. What is that?
What are fitness for duty assessments?
Yeah, Giant Food Corp. What's Giant Food Corporation?
Money
Oh,
gun.
that's something that I did many years ago. Basically, a company or an organization might refer someone who is having difficulty at work, having symptoms, making
Okay.
threats, that sort of thing. And they would ask for an evaluation from a psychiatrist or a psychologist.
Okay.
And I did that for a while for Giant Food Corporations.
And you also did it for US Airways, apparently, evaluations and consultation, right?
Yes.
You also did it for the
What
Texas
they did
Education
it.
Commission. You put on your resume the
RUA.
forensic clinical site visitor, Sam Houston State Hospital or University, right?
Yes.
You were a grant reviewer for the Office of Victims of Crime for the United States Department of Justice. That's the feds. That's the U.S. Attorney's Office, right?
Yes.
Okay. You also worked and you did violence risk assessment consultant as a consultant to the New Jersey Department of Mental Health Services, right?
Yes.
You also consulted as a research consultant with the community education centers in New Jersey, right?
Yes.
Research Advisory Board, the Center for the Analysis of, actually the FBI. You work for the FBI?
Steven.
consulted with the
Stephen Crabtree's
FBI,
in the
yes.
house, everybody.
And in consulting with the FBI, you also consult with the Bureau of Prisons, right? BOP?
Yes,
When you're consulting for, well, okay, look, site visit of juvenile justice and psychology, you were involved with that, right?
yes,
Consultant forensic
for your
psychology service
heartbeat.
for the Walter Reed Medical Center, correct?
yes.
When you work on the consulting with the Bureau of Prisons, basically what you're doing is you're evaluating, as you told us a couple of times, people that are wrongfully convicted and they're in jail for decades. And you would evaluate them for the Bureau of Prisons to see if they're okay to release to society, right?
That does not sound like a typical question that I would evaluate for the Bureau of Prisons.
All right. Well, what would you evaluate for the Bureau of Prisons? That's
Well, for
just so-
example-
wait, hold on. Just so we know, Bureau of Prisons is federal as opposed to the Department of Correction, which is state, right?
Yes, that's
Okay.
right.
I miss you,
So go ahead.
Stephen
Tell me what you do
Crabtree,
for
and
the
I'm
Bureau of
praying for
Prisons.
you, and I think about you
Well,
all
one of the
time.
things that I might do is conduct a meeting or a
for
workshop
being my
on a
friend.
topic such as violence risk assessment or something like that. So I have done that, deliver a workshop or provide an organizational meeting, provide information and so on a number of occasions.
And do you evaluate people to see if they're able to be reintegrated into society?
I do that as well, yes.
Okay. You also are involved with sexual violence risk. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
My cat's back,
You
so
also are involved with specialized
It's-
police
my
response
cat's
and
back, so
collaboration
if
with
the cat walks
behavioral
on the
health
soundboard,
systems
my
in
apologies.
Pennsylvania, right?
beforehand.
Correct.
Sexual violence risk, again, for purposes of the Department of Correction. You focused on that, right?
Yes.
Principles of forensic
Okay.
assessments that you would be assessing juveniles for purposes of juvenile assessment and risk assessment, right?
Yes.
You also are involved with violence risk and sexual violence risk, correct?
Yes, correct.
Juvenile assessments, risk assessments and principles of forensic assessment for the American Academy of Forensic Psychology. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
And also a focus on juvenile assessment and risk assessment of juveniles, right?
Yes, correct.
Violence towards others, psychiatrically hospitalized populations. That would be what? Patient on patient assaults or something like that when somebody's in a mental institution?
Patients against patients, patients against staff, that sort of thing.
They can be pretty violent places, can't they?
They can be sometimes, yes.
Sexual violence risk, you involved with New Orleans,
Watching my
Louisiana.
cat.
Sexual violence risk assessment, right?
Correct.
He's being mean right now.
Obtaining and using mental health experts. Obtaining and using mental health experts in criminal litigation for the Administrative Office of the
Get out of
United
here with
States
that.
Courts, right?
Yes.
What does that mean? What did you do with that when you were dealing with obtaining and using mental health experts in criminal litigation?
Well, I have had the occasion to provide workshops to prosecutors, to defense attorneys, to judges, and so on. And depending on some of the questions that arise, such as what's the most effective way
He is
to
Melissa.
obtain and present a forensic psychologist or forensic psychiatrist expert, I might do a half day or a full day workshop on that.
Okay, so my question, sir, I know you get in there, but where did you lecture or give a lecture to criminal defense attorneys?
I've given a number of those lectures over the years. I can't recall them all offhand.
Okay. But my question, sir, was that you were working on behalf of the Administrative Office of the United States Courts, federal courts, right?
Yes,
I
that's
asked you that
right.
question? Okay.
Yeah.
You also worked for the Forensic Mental Health Assessment for the Ohio Forensic Psychiatric Center of
Yes, that's
inmates, right?
Yes.
You also participate and have written about To Kill or Not Kill, That Is the Question, for Drexel University, where you were a professor, correct?
Yes.
All right. Assessing risk of violence towards others in psychiatrically hospitalized populations. You focused on that, right?
Yes.
You
That's
had a
right.
chance, sir, to give a total of, 131 lectures or workshops presented in the area of violence risk assessment, sexual offenses, and forensic mental health and ethics, right?
Yes,
Is that
that's
right?
right. Yes.
Aggression, forensic psychological assessment, risk assessment, treatment of mentally disordered offenders and juveniles. That's another focus, correct?
Yes, it is.
You've had a number of publications that you put on your CV.
Thank you for
Basically,
the
you're talking
jewels
about
on
justice
YouTube. Thank you for the
involved
gold
youths,
coin.
correct?
Yes, that's one of the things I talk about.
Appraising Jackson-based unrestorability to competence to stand trial deals with the standard of competence to stand trial, correct?
Yes, it is.
Public perception on policies to address prenatal substance use recommendations regarding maternal criminal prosecutions. Wait, what is that? Prosecute a woman that's pregnant who's involved with drug use?
Yeah, that sounds like something that would have been a dissertation where I served on the committee and was a co-author of some kind, but the individual who
Okay.
wrote the dissertation would have been the first author there.
All right. And life sentence for juveniles, sequential model for juvenile justice, justice involving men, forced medication, and competency to stand trial. These are interests or focuses of yours, sir?
Yes.
Urine drug screens
we
as a
going over his
baseline for
resume
predictors
again?
of graduation from drug court.
Yes.
What does that mean? That you were involved with drug court?
Yes, I've been involved in writing about and
So see,
consulting
coming in
to
and
drug courts over
saying
the years. Yes.
The
And
electric chair
disputed
is fair
paraphilia diagnoses and
because you
legal
can actually
decision making
give
is one of your other
death
focuses.
by
right?
That
way.
was one of my
Okay.
graduate
If
students,
she's
and
found
I was
guilty.
a
But when somebody
supervising
comes in
and
here and
second
says,
author.
"Oh, let's do a public," you know
Paraphilias would
what?
be in the,
That's
I
that's
mean, that's
not good
basically if
language, and
you
you'll be.
have some kind of weird sexual things that you do, right?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Continuing on, juvenile, a lot of juvenile focus on your resume, correct, sir?
Yes, there's a fair amount of juvenile work that I've done over the years.
Involuntary medication, trial competence, clinical dilemmas, substance abusing
you all know
adjudicated
Lindsay did that.
adolescents. And your resume basically
You guys
is
realize
a
that she
number
could
of
be free
pages,
one day.
correct? Would you agree with me? It's almost 70 pages, right?
Yes, I would agree with you.
Okay. Flipping through and jumping ahead, sir. You wrote book chapters, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
You dealt with forensic mental health assessments, principles and standards of care, right?
That's right.
Violence risk assessment, right?
Correct.
Juvenile violence risk assessment, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Managing hindsight bias and unstructured judgments, implications for legal decision making is an article that you had, chapter or whatever that you wrote, right?
Yes, it is.
Again, juvenile delinquency, juvenile delinquency, juvenile delinquency, juvenile delinquency. A lot of focus on juveniles, right?
Yes, there's a fair amount of
Then you
focus
have
on juveniles over the years. Yes.
a number of reviews that you have published, presentations that you've presented, a lot of them dealing again with juveniles and dealing with assessments of prisoners to have them released into society, things of that nature, right? Life
Yes.
sentence juveniles, for example, is one of the things you focus on, right?
That's my
Yes, again,
cat.
there's been a fair amount of juvenile work.
Again.
And
Handling difficult cross-examination,
I'm not doing
integrating
it.
perspectives,
That's so funny.
combining substance with style and learning. What does that mean?
I don't know
Handling
why.
difficult
I
cross-examination.
don't know why. It's littles
one of the
today. I
things
don't know why
that
he is
people as
insistent on
forensic
helping me out with my
psychologists
show.
need to do is convey what they have done in a way that is effective. And so there are things that you,
To a jury?
to a jury, to a judge, to an attorney, various kinds
Yes,
of.
Well, when you're dealing with an attorney, sir, you're presenting information to the attorney. You're not dealing with difficult cross-examination, are you?
Could you repeat the question, please?
Sure. You wrote about handling difficult cross-examination, integrating perspectives, combining substance with style.
Yes.
And what
It's
is
a me's to me.
25
Let's get on
words
the
or less, what is that
algorithm.
basically
Let's
telling people how
go.
to, what, withstand cross-examination?
It's how most effectively to convey the results of the evaluation that you have done.
And then again, just hundreds of articles on topics that the jurors can look at because your resume is in evidence. Finishing it off on that end, sexual abuse behavior, juvenile forensic mental health, violence risk assessment of juveniles, behavioral measure of sexual offense behavior, influencing third-party informant observations dealing with juveniles. Should the courts coerce offenders into substance abuse treatment? Is there one article, one, that you wrote about a woman who is pregnant, who is undergoing postpartum depression, and God forbid, psychosis?
No.
Paula,
But you
Paula.
did write an article 49 years ago. You published an article on
Oh, commercial.
Introducing custom holographic stickers from Sticker Mule.
While we are being forced to watch this commercial, if you're just joining us, we have 250 souls in the room. We are watching the Lindsay Clancy trial, trying to wrap up with this witness who almost caused a mistrial yesterday. And now we are going into almost the last day here with closing arguments, maybe tomorrow. Thank you for joining me. Today's live goal is 10 of these seals. If you can, throw one that goes to support the platform and what I do here. If you can't, tap it as clapping and sharing and all those things. Following me, all of those things, reposting, share, and repost this live and sending a little miss to me. All of those things help the algorithm, commenting, and all of the interaction is appreciated.
with the district attorney's office to get all this discovery that I sent you, that the DA sent you, police reports.
Thank you,
that went
Wisconsin
through with the
Mama.
Jury, and you read it, right?
Yes, that's right.
And you must have talked to the DAs before you saw Lindsay, right?
Yes.
Okay, how many times?
I don't remember how many times.
Well, you billed them for it, I'll bet, right?
Any time I spend on a case like this, I record and it gets billed.
Of course. So you do have records, but who cares at this point? I mean, you're here testifying based on your opinion at the request of the prosecutors, right?
I'm here based on, yes, at this point, I've completed the evaluation and don't remember things like how many times I talked to the DAs. That's part of it.
But basically, in your conversations with these two prosecutors, sir, did you talk to the state police at
That
all?
laugh.
Detectives?
I reviewed a massive amount of reports, some by the state police, some by other individuals. So I reviewed records for many, many hours.
And when you got involved with this case 3 years later, or 2.5 years later, you'd agree with me that it was quite publicized, right?
Yes, I would agree with that.
Heather,
You've heard
thank
of
you.
confirmation bias, I'm sure,
I
right?
have indeed.
Yes.
Thank you
And,
so much, ma'am. I appreciate that. Thank
However
you.
many times you talk to the DAs and review the information, would you agree with me, sir, that before you met with Lindsay in Tewksbury,
What's up, Misty
you
Shepherd?
pretty much had an idea that this woman was a beast, killed her 3 kids, didn't you?
I would not agree with you at all.
So you had an open mind when you went in there to Tewksbury to see and speak to for 3 days, Lindsay Clancy?
I did my best to have an open mind,
I know.
yes.
You told us yesterday you had some difficult decisions to make, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Right. So when did you first meet Avram?
When did I first meet him?
Yeah.
That probably would have been
Dr. Mack.
late
they're talking about-
2025, early 2026.
Around the same time that you first got involved with the case?
No, it would have been considerably after I first got involved with the
Where did
case.
you meet him?
They're talking about Dr.
Where did I meet him?
That's what I said. Where did you meet him?
Virtually.
Oh, virtually?
Yes.
Okay. So it's like a Zoom thing or
Yeah.
FaceTime or something.
Exactly.
You ever meet him in person before you went to Tewksbury?
No, I didn't.
So did you guys have a plan to meet up somewhere before you went to evaluate Lindsay?
In the lobby of the hospital.
Did you stay somewhere the night before?
I did, yes.
Yeah, where'd you stay?
I don't remember.
You don't remember? Were you with Mac that night?
No,
No? Did you stay in a private house?
no.
You stay in a hotel?
Yes, I did.
Wasn't a van down by the river, for sure, right?
I don't remember the name of the hotel, but it was a hotel in
All
Tewksbury.
right.
Dr.
So you're in a
Kirk
hotel.
Hilbrun.
You meet with Abram Mack in the parking lot, and then you go into Tewksbury Hospital to meet with this young lady, right?
Correct.
And the two of you, day number one, you spend how many hours, the two of you, questioning her?
4.5.
And day number two, you don't bring Mac with you, you're by yourself, and you administer the psychological testing, correct?
Correct.
And how long was that, sir?
3 hours.
And day number three, how long did you speak to Lindsay in the hospital?
3 hours.
So what was your total period of time over a 3-day period that this young woman was dealing with you and Abram Mack?
10.5 hours.
So for 10.5 hours, this young lady is in a room, in a wheelchair, being questioned by you and Abram Mack while she's on medication, right?
Yes, that's correct.
And she was still answering your questions, trying to be cooperative and being affable and friendly, you put in your report, right?
Yes, that's right.
Did at any time she express to you that she was tired and wanted to take a break?
We offered her in the beginning.
My question, sir, was,
Objection, if you could answer.
no, he's not gonna, he's gonna
No,
use my.
hold on, hold on. Would you ask a specific question, Doctor, if you listen to that question, okay?
My question, sir, was at any time, did you or Abram Mack offer to her to take a break?
Yes,
Did she accept that offer?
once she did and once she did not.
And basically indicated that she wanted to get through this interview and get it over with, right?
Yes,
You weren't her buddy going there to talk to her those 3 days, were you?
no,
She knew that you were there on behalf of the district attorney's office to testify against her in a trial and say to a jury that she knew and was able to conform to the law when she killed her 3 kids. Isn't that right?
no, that's not right.
So your diagnosis is depressive bipolar 2, right?
Bipolar 2 disorder, right.
Okay. And that's a serious mental disease, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
You would agree with me, sir, that Lindsay is in your opinion, testified she's a very hardworking and highly self-disciplined individual, right?
Yes, I would agree with that.
You testified to that yesterday, right?
Yes, that's right.
That's funny.
No, it's not funny. It's just that you asked me whether I agree with something that I testified to yesterday.
So what does that mean?
It means that I testified to it yesterday, and that means I do believe it. Yes.
Okay. So we established that. In your opinion, granted, for those 3 days that you had interactions with Lindsay, is it your opinion that she is a controlling individual, sir?
It depends what you mean by controlling.
Well, let me ask you, for example, would you agree that if a young mother prepares lists for a babysitter, for example, to chop up the carrots and dice them up small, and how to prepare the spinach, and how to prepare the chicken McNuggets, and then leaves them in a note and puts them on the kitchen table, is that controlling, in your opinion, of that individual?
That is something that is working hard and being disciplined and exerting a certain amount of control. Yes.
Melissa said
That's not
a
something
high
that-
freaking five on
that you
YouTube.
would use against her in
Thank
this
you.
opinion you have for this jury, is it?
Thank you.
What I
Thank you so
do
much.
is do my best to describe what she does, what she thinks, what she feels at certain times, what symptoms she has, and so on. And if that's a part of that overall picture, then it's not that I'm using it in favor of her or against her. It's just part of the overall picture, which I'm trying to present.
I mean, it's not a bad thing to chop up the carrots and tell somebody this is how I like my child to be fed, right? There's nothing wrong with that, right?
Not that I know.
And you would agree, sir, that she was a good student. You told us about, she got all A's, she was hard driving and actually drove herself pretty good to try to succeed in college and in nursing school, right?
I would.
And did you interview any of her coworkers, or did you review any of her 5-star reviews from Mass General Hospital, flagship hospitals?
I reviewed every record that was provided to me.
And that would be by them, right?
It was records that were provided to me by individuals who were a part of the investigation. And a lot of that were interviews with people who had known her before or were currently friends with her, things like that.
Okay, so things like that. I'm asking you, sir, about with her 7-year career as a nurse, labor and delivery nurse at a very, very well-established hospital. Did you talk to any of the nurses that she worked with, or did you review any of the records of her work reviews? Anything like that?
No.
Would you agree with me, sir, that she also, by all accounts, is and was an incredible mother taking care of her kids?
I would describe her as a very good mother, yes.
And in fact, sir, in the past 6 weeks or 5 weeks, there hasn't been one person that's had one thing bad to say about her other than these two. Isn't that right?
Sustained.
Did anybody, to your knowledge, come into this court in front of this jury and say that Lindsay Clancy was a bad wife?
I don't know.
How about bad mother?
Again, I don't know.
So in your readings about her as a mother, you were able to see that she would sing to her daughter when she put her to bed. That's in the reports. You read the reports, right?
You might have to ask me that question.
You know
again.
Rascal Flats?
I'm sorry?
Rascal Flats. You ever heard of them?
No.
Okay.
Oh my God.
So if I suggest to you, sir, that
Clearly
Lindsay would
he's
sing
too nerdy.
to her daughter every night, is that important to you in your evaluation?
Yes.
You didn't know that, though, apparently, right?
I knew that she was very good with her kids, paid a lot of attention to them, spent a lot of time with them, and really enjoyed it.
Even right up to within hours of their killing, she was making snowmen with them, right?
Yes, she was playing with the 2 older children out in the backyard.
And then bringing
A song
her
she used
life
to sing, I
experience,
guess.
which you testified yesterday that she never had any abuse in her life, was raised by loving mother and father, good student, hard worker, great mother, good friend, wonderful wife. She then randomly decides to kill her children by strangling them. It's the facts we're dealing with. Yes, sir, right?
No, not right.
So one of the things you testified to yesterday is that, and you went like this and said that this is difficult, but then you were able to power through and tell the jury that Lindsay didn't like to leave her kids alone. She got anxious about that. Remember telling that to the jury?
I do.
This is one of the things that
Out with you.
kinda had on that you felt was important in your evaluation, right?
Get out of
It
here.
was important. It was an important part of my evaluation that she did not like to leave her
These
kids,
need
and
to
it
see
made
her.
her anxious. Yes.
That's not a bad thing, is it? For a mother not to want to leave her children and be anxious when they're out of her home, right?
Well, it depends. It could be difficult and so on, depending on how anxious and even disabling it was, if she just couldn't leave her kids. But on the other hand, if it just reflected that she
Get
was
outta
close to
here.
them and wanted to be with them and wasn't a problem or disabling, then it's not a problem.
Did you know, sir, that Pat's mother and father would come over to the house and babysit
Don't
for the kids?
spam
when
the
Lindsay and
chat.
her husband would go out to dinner or go out to a movie or go out with their friends. Did you know that, sir?
Yes.
Did you know that the children were actually in Learning Sprouts School? Did you know that?
Thank you,
Yes.
They
Lolita,
had to
for
leave
the
the house and go to
floating
school, didn't they?
hearts.
Yes.
Thank
She
you
wasn't
so
anxious when they would go to
much.
school, was she?
It made her a little anxious to drop her kids off. She didn't like to be separated from them.
Well, that's because the kids many times, not on occasion, would cry, like little kids do when you drop them off somewhere, right?
I don't know if she was anxious only when they cried.
You know that in addition to
You, Amy.
the date
Thank you
nights,
for the
in
heart
addition
on the
to
ticker talker.
socializing with friends, in addition to the children leaving to
Thank
go to
you,
the Little
Lolita.
Sprouts School, you knew that there were a number of occasions that Lindsay alone or Lindsay with her husband would leave the kids and go out and do any number of things, shopping, socializing, go to Boston, things like that. You know, did you ask third-party
I
contacts
think
about
he's
that?
trying to
I
discredit the
asked
witness
Patrick about
by
that. And one of the things
trying
he
to
said is that
convince
it
the
was
jury
difficult
that
for
he
her
does
to leave the
not
kids.
have
And he used
expertise
as an
when it comes to
example,
postpartum
date night for their
psychosis,
5th
despite
anniversary. It was
all of
hard
his
for her to
studies.
leave.
Was that in 22?
Was date night for their 5th
Thank
anniversary in
you, Lolita,
22?
for
Mentioned it to
the
the jury. Was that in
thank
2022?
you.
Your anniversary is in December, right?
I don't know what year it was in,
Well,
Mr.
What
Reddington.
was the problem? What did he say? Third-party collateral. What did he tell you?
What he said in response to that question is that on date
Kendra,
night
thank
for
you
their
for
5th
the 9
anniversary,
star. Thank you. You guys are being
she was
very kind
anxious
to
about
me.
leaving the kids.
Thank you.
Did
I
they
love
ultimately
you.
go out that night?
They did.
You know where they went?
I don't.
Did she have fun? Did she appear to be enjoying herself away from the kids?
That was not part of the question I asked him.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with a woman being concerned about her babies when she's not at home, right? There's nothing wrong with that.
I wasn't presenting it as something that is wrong.
I'll back off. I'm sorry. I thought you did. I thought yesterday you were telling this jury that because Lindsay didn't like to leave her kids at home, that was a factor that Dr. Helbrin considered in his opinion, but that's fine. You agree that there's nothing wrong with a woman being concerned about her children, leaving them out of the house, right?
No, I don't believe I said that.
Okay.
One of the things that
No, never mind one of the things. They can ask you on,
We can finish.
Okay. You,
They're about to have a
the answer
sidebar.
is you did not say that.
This is getting tangled.
Judge, I'm getting a little confused here
Well,
between,
listen, no. Let's see if you, my question is not that confusing.
okay,
Did you testify, you done saying that you did not say what Mr. Reddington said?
yes, I'm done
Okay,
saying that.
all right, that's good. Next question.
one of the other issues is that also factored into when Tufts prescribed her the SSRI, she didn't want to take it because she was afraid of the breast milk being contaminated by this drug, right?
Yes,
And then ultimately, when she stopped breastfeeding, at that point, she was able to take the SSRI, correct?
yes, that's correct.
And then Tufts increased it to 50, right?
Me too, Kiki, actually.
I don't recall offhand what the.
Okay, well, you agree that Tufts increased the SSRI, right?
I do.
You agree that before the end of September of 2022, this young woman was living her life with her husband and her kids. Summer of 22, happy, had a great time. Do you agree with that, sir?
I do.
And when she saw Tufts from September
He
end
does.
up until the killing of these children and the state of her condition,
Forced commercial. I thought we were over that era. Well, while we are being forced to watch this, we are watching 342 souls in here. If you have not followed me, please do so. All you have to do is hit the follow button right there at my finger. Totally free to do. Of course, I've set it today's live goal.
Yes, that's right.
but prior to seeing Tufts and the other healthcare providers, she was a happy woman, wasn't she?
She was in many respects happy, pleased
Ashley,
with her
thank
life.
you.
So she wasn't happy in an unqualified way, but she was, yes, she was very happy with certain aspects of her life.
So as September turns into October, middle of October, thereabouts, how is she doing at that point? Between her
Definitely, Richard.
Well,
depression, anxiety, drugs prescribed, how is she doing?
she was anxious about going back to work, but she hadn't started taking the
Okay, wait,
drugs that were
wait,
prescribed.
no,
Let
no.
him finish. Go ahead. Go ahead, Doug.
Yes. In September, she was anxious about returning to work. She had not yet started taking the medications that Dr. Tufts had prescribed, though.
Gail.
How about a text that she had sent to her mother on October 20th, sir? I know you indicate in your report that you had a chance to review all of the
Oh,
computer
snap.
searches, text messages.
They're showing, I
Apple
hope they've
Watches,
changed
all
their
that
phone
stuff,
numbers.
right?
He's showing the phone number and all.
Yes, that's right.
All right. Read that text, please. October 20th.
Everybody,
This
please
was a text that
disregard. Do
she
not
sent
call
to her
this
mother.
phone
Read
number.
it.
Would you like me to read it out loud?
I'd like you to read it out.
Do
loud.
not.
All right. Mom, will you please come up and stay with me for a bit? I'm really sick. Something is wrong. I had horrible insomnia all night, and I just don't know how I'm going to get through the day. I started taking the medicine my doctor prescribed for anxiety, and I think it's made things worse. It's just really scary, and I don't want to be alone.
Did her mother come up the next day and stay with her?
Oh, I don't know. I'd have to go back and look at the records.
I'm sure. You know, sir, that she actually climbed into the bed with her mother to sleep with her mother when the mother was staying with her during this period of time?
No, I didn't know that.
In the middle of November, sir, she texted her mother-in-law, which would be Pat's mother, Sue. This would be Sue Clancy, who was also a labor and delivery nurse, right?
Yes, that's correct.
She texted Sue while she was at work as a nurse, right?
Mom.
Yes.
And Sue was in the
Mom.
emergency room
Mom.
and actually realized that Lindsay was at the hospital and stated that she felt unwell. Is that right?
Yes.
Did Sue see her in the hospital, if you know?
I think she met with her in the emergency room.
Okay. And then her mother-in-law was trying to help her out and referred her to another person that was a friend of a friend, so to speak, right? To help her out?
The nurse practitioner, is that who you're talking about?
Yes, yeah.
Yes, that's right.
And she was able to meet with that individual, Paul, until she left, I think like a week later. She went on to another job, right?
I think that's right, yes.
And that's when she saw Nurse Gelada. Was that correct?
To my memory, that's correct, yes.
And then would you agree with me, sir, that at this time frame in November, she was having real difficulty with sleep disruption, yes?
Yes, I would.
She had concerns all along about this, starting in mid-October, about the impact of the medications on her insomnia, correct?
Yes, insomnia was one of the first problems that she experienced when she started taking the medication in October.
And she expressed the fact that she believed that the medications were obviously having an adverse effect on her. They were damaging her brain, right?
She did express that view, yes.
And then she still, however, had a positive outlook and was hoping that things would turn around in her life and that she could get back to being herself, is a quote, right?
Yes, that's right.
But instead, and I quote your words yesterday, it got worse.
Yes.
Late in November, she's still having a lot of trouble sleeping. She thought that she was close to, and I quote, the end of her rope. Bad analogy, but nevertheless, that's what she said, right?
Yes, it is.
You know
She
why
was
she done
feeling
that?
off,
The girl in the green
disconnected,
dress?
sort of like a zombie, your words, testifying here yesterday, sir, correct?
Correct.
She was reporting at this point panic symptoms, concerns about the benzodiazepines, correct?
Yes,
Out of here.
Indicated that she was disoriented and forgetful, correct?
correct.
You told us that she stated that she was disconnected from her body. Isn't that correct?
That's how she described feeling, yes.
Yeah.
Could
You know
not
why she done
relate
it?
to people, felt that she was in a disassociative state.
She said
Isn't that
she
right?
done it
Yes,
because,
that is right.
I don't know, somebody in her
Thought that
family
the
or somebody
medication was resulting
know
in this
who,
type of
told her that
development
she
in her
needed to
life,
smile
correct?
more. So when the camera towed it around, she did that, which was
She
totally
felt the
inappropriate.
medications were contributing to this.
Yes, that's correct.
And in December, and I quote you, it's not getting better.
For that.
It got from worse, it got better. Well, actually, not better. It got worse again, didn't it, in December?
December was probably the worst month for her, as she described it.
And in December, sir, you recall that she indicated, and I quote from your testimony, horrible intrusive thoughts. She had thoughts about harming herself, potentially as she continued to experience these thoughts later into December, correct?
Yes, that's right.
These thoughts, did anyone say to her, are these thoughts? Are these coming from outside your head? Are they coming from inside
Oh
your head?
my
Are they
word.
male voices? Are they female voices? Anybody
What?
ask anything about thoughts, what they were? According to the medical records, not according to your
Stop
guess.
spamming my room.
That's a standard kind of question when you're
My
being
question,
treated.
sir, is you read the medical records.
No, overruled.
Can you answer that question based on Dr. Helbrin's review of the medical records of what this young lady went through in that hell that she was living?
Is your question, did someone ask her about hallucinations?
Yeah, if
or
I come
thoughts?
to you for help and I say, I've got intrusive thoughts about killing myself, and God forbid, I'm thinking about killing my kids, I've got these thoughts in my head, would you ask me? Voices. Thoughts? What are they? Does anybody ask that question?
Yes, that's a standard question that psychiatrists ask at the beginning of each appointment. It's a standard mental status
Okay.
question.
Did any one of those psychiatrists ask Lindsay Clancy that question, according to the medical records? Anyone?
Ms. Clancy completed the answer to those questions
What
on a
question?
number
Getting
of
red.
occasions,
Sir,
if I
what
might.
questions?
No, well, go ahead.
What
Finish.
questions?
Finish that question and I'll let you have that question.
Okay.
Finish the answer.
Questions such as, are you hearing voices? If so, describe those and so on. And the typical response that she gave as part of a question like that was no.
Face is red. Blood pressure.
How about when someone says, I've got dark thoughts? Does anybody, professionals, ask, what are the dark thoughts?
If somebody said, I'm having dark thoughts, then the follow-up question would be, tell me more. What are the thoughts? Tell me, just give me some descriptions of what you're having, what you're thinking, what it's like, and so on.
So if a patient goes to a doctor and says, I'm having these intrusive thoughts, I'm having dark thoughts, I'm having thoughts of, and at the same time frame in December,
Mhm.
she's talking about harming the children, correct?
She said that those thoughts had come to her at times.
At times.
Yes,
And she mentioned that to her husband, didn't she?
that's what she said, yes.
She mentioned, did you talk to her husband about it?
Yes, I did talk to her husband.
Tell
about
you
it.
that she said that to him?
Yes,
A couple of times she said it to him, right?
a couple of times she said, I'm having thoughts, and he asked her, give me more detail if you could, and she said, they're just thoughts, it's not a plan, that sort of thing.
You got this girl living in her house with her kids, saying she's having dark thoughts, saying she's thinking of harming the children. And Patrick's response, according to your testimony, is just basically just power through it, you'll be okay?
Objection.
No, overruled.
Huh?
No, that was not his response as he described it. He asked more questions because one of the things that she had been dealing with for some time are thoughts about hurting herself and possibly the kids. And so what he did was try to get more information about the details.
Patrick?
He asked questions that a mental health professional would also ask, which is
Patrick,
how often,
Patrick.
what are they like? Do you have a plan? Things like that. And she pretty consistently said, no, I don't have a plan. And this is how often it happens, but they're just thoughts.
So let's talk about that, because that's apparently the standard reaction. If a patient comes to a doctor and says, I'm having dark thoughts, intrusive thoughts. I'm thinking of hurting myself. I'm thinking of hurting the kids. You say, do you
I
have a
want to
plan?
know what he done with the
Question, yes, right?
information of,
That's one of the
I'm
questions
thinking
that you
about
ask,
harming
yes.
my
Person says,
children.
"Nah, I don't have a plan. I'm just.
That's
having
why
sex." And
didn't
you
he
just
take the
basically
children
respond
and
to
get
what
out
that
of there?
you do.
First of all, I'm not saying not to get her help.
No, you don't move on.
But to
You're
get the
aware
children
that
to
the person
safety
has
first and
reported having
foremost.
those thoughts,
What do you
and you've
do when
appraised
somebody
the
tells
risk,
you that?
and the risk
You
has
get
to do
out
with
of there,
things
like a
like
scene from
how
Poltergeist.
imminent is it? How serious is it? Are there means? How is there a plan? What sort of detail is involved, and so on? And so basically what you do at that point is you take it seriously, but you also try to describe how seriously to take it. So
Okay. Would you agree, sir, that she was complaining through December about these unwelcome and internal thoughts? Is that correct?
yes,
It's important for your evaluation because when you ask the question, when you're experiencing these thoughts,
No.
were they your own thoughts or were
Who
they
is there?
auditory
Hold on a minute.
hallucinations? And she indicated to you they're my own thoughts. Is what your testimony was, right?
We
Yesterday.
got
That's
somebody
correct.
with 297
But she made clear that these were
followers here, so it's
unwelcome
not really a
and that they were
spam
intrusive.
account.
Is that correct?
It
Yes,
looks like
yes,
his
she
name
did.
is Giorgio.
So she's answering your questions honestly. She certainly
horrible,
isn't trying
horrible,
to
horrible
fake that she's hearing all
things.
sorts of voices yelling at her and
Remember,
things like that. She's answering
God sees
honestly, correct?
everything you type on
Yes,
TikTok.
Very
yes,
cooperative, correct?
yes, correct.
You then would indicate, sir, that in your evaluation as you went on, that she described an experience on December 15th. And
God
she
has
described
TikTok and he's
December
watching
15th
you.
as being literally one of the worst days in her life, right?
Yes.
And that's, why was it one of the worst days of her life?
Well, it was one of the worst days because things were getting more intense and difficult, and the thoughts that she was experiencing were harder
Every
to
word but
handle.
here, Tammy. This
for
is a
her.
commentary live.
As a result of that, her husband, Pat, took her to the hospital, right?
Correct.
And you indicated that it looked like she was having general anxiety symptoms, right? That's your testimony yesterday.
It looked from what the records reflected that anxiety was something that they were focusing on her experiencing.
Right.
And then you said in your
Right,
testimony,
Jessica?
but not so much the postpartum.
Baby, ba, ba,
What does that mean?
ba.
It means that in December, she would have been 7 months away from giving birth to Callan. And consequently, it was less likely to be postpartum than depression for other reasons, or bipolar or major depression or something like that, rather than postpartum depression or postpartum psychosis, something like that.
Because you know that postpartum is not a medical diagnosis. That's just the fact that you had a baby, right?
I do know that, yes.
Okay. And when she went to that hospital, did they provide any help for her or any medication, or what happened on December 15th?
She did not stay in the hospital very long, and so no, she didn't remain there long enough to get the kind of help that you would usually get on an inpatient basis.
But the next day or thereabouts, she goes back to see Tufts, right?
Yes,
Okay. So she immediately tries to reach out for help to anybody that would listen to her, right?
she was trying hard to get help.
Now we get to December 20th. December 20th wasn't a very good day either, was it?
Well, that was the day she went to the she went to the Rhode Island hospital that had a postpartum program.
Now, you know from looking at the medical records that in fact, it was recommended to her, I think by maybe the LAFCW young lady, Letitia Dukes, but maybe I'm wrong. You're in the records. Someone told her to get in touch with this Rhode Island hospital, right?
Yes,
they specialized in postpartum care for women that possibly are going through postpartum psychosis or postpartum depression, right?
Yes,
And Pat, her husband, took her and dropped her off, and then he went skiing with Cora. Is that correct?
correct.
And he dropped her off in that hospital, and she was evaluated by a doctor and some people, correct?
Yes,
And you reviewed those medical records, right?
Somebody block
when you
Juicy.
review the
If you
medical
guys come in
records, you
here
can see that she
coming
was
after my
also
followers
involved in group
or
discussions and crayons and
talking to
coloring
them in
and
a
things like
horrible
that.
way,
Yes, I
out you
did.
go.
Did that help her
There
out, do you
must have
think,
been
the coloring?
300 people blocked between yesterday and today.
there's a number of
Why
things
do
that
you
they
want to
try to
spend your
do. I think
life
coloring as
being
such would
mean?
not be helpful, but
Okay.
there's art therapy and there's various other kinds of things that people are involved in.
All right, so various other things that people are involved in. So I assume the people you're referring to.
Stop
would be
being
the employees
mean.
Of the hospital.
Or the patients who are attending the postpartum program.
So what exactly was
No
the
habla
program?
español,
What did they
no
do?
bien.
That one day that she was there? She was there for 8 hours. What
No
did they do?
habla.
She wasn't accepted as part of
Well, I
that
didn't ask you
program.
about that. I asked you, what did they do?
No.
Well, they evaluated her, as my understanding from reviewing the records.
And then what happened, sir, when they evaluated her?
They evaluated her and they indicated that she was not appropriate for their program.
And you testified yesterday
Exactly, Melissa.
that, and I quote, they said she did not necessarily fit
you see?
into their postpartum program. They did offer her 3 other programs. Remember that, sir?
Yes,
Okay. And then you indicated that patient was offered several options, including inpatient treatment for medication management, right?
yes,
A partial hospitalization program focused on general mental health,
yes.
right?
Yes.
Where was that program?
I don't know.
Or continued outpatient management, right?
Yes.
What is that, like going to see Tufts? Outpatient?
You're wasting hours every week filming social
Force
content for your business when
commercial.
you could be doing this
I have
instead. This is workflows from
Please,
Kittle.
me,
Tons of social
if
and
you
video
guys
work.
can do that, please do so. It helps get on the algorithm, and it also goes to support the platform. So if you have a couple of little extra means, I was wearing my sunglasses in the Virgin Islands when TikTok decided to capture that moment. Please send. Thank you.
Is qualified to treat a young woman with this symptomology that she brought to that desk? Oh, I'm sorry, to the television set?
I don't understand your question.
Well, you know that she never met, Tufts never met this girl. She never met her, ever, until she sat in that witness stand.
Level up cake.
I understand that their treatment was done remotely.
It was remotely. So when I say the television, that's what I mean. It's like you're on Zoom, you're on whatever. I apologize for that.
Yes.
So she went the next day and actually remotely accessed a meeting with Dr. Tufts, right?
Yes.
And then she went back onto her schedule with Dr. Tufts, but that didn't help so much. Is that correct? You indicated that she was still numb. She was still having suicidal ideation, things of that nature, right?
Correct.
Okay. One of the things that you said, though, sir, yesterday is that her admission to the hospital was because they did not feel,
What's
and I
up, Lane?
quote, that she did not necessarily fit into their program. You recall that?
You mean their failure to accept her into the day program?
The failure to help her, period. They told her to leave.
It's my understanding that what they said was that you don't fit with our program because it's not a postpartum phenomenon, and that's what the program is about.
Did you really read those records?
Yes.
Seriously?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
And
So
I
tell me
wrote
again.
something about, in my report, I wrote something about it.
Wait for the next question, okay?
Yes, sure.
Objection.
So you read the records from that Women and Infants Hospital in Rhode Island,
Yes,
on this jury, right?
yes.
And what was the word, the language, the word salad you just said to me that they didn't accept her because of what?
You can rephrase that.
I told you.
What was it you just said to this jury? They wouldn't accept her? Why?
Rephrase.
It was a day program for women experiencing postpartum difficulties. And their evaluation of Miss Clancy was that her difficulties were more related to general mental health, but not particularly to postpartum difficulties.
Would it
And so
suppress-
she did not,
Go ahead.
if I might,
Yeah, you might.
if she might be more appropriate for
Fancy
somebody,
red.
she might be more appropriate for a general mental health program, but not so much for a postpartum day program, which is what they had. So they didn't say that you don't need help. They just said that you don't fit with our program.
Would it surprise you to know, sir, that they said that she didn't fit with their program, as you put it, because of
Get
the
outta
overload
here.
of over medication that her doctors had caused?
Get out.
To that point. Do you have any memory of that at all?
There were questions that they raised about the medication.
It wasn't just questions. They said that's the reason. The secondary diagnosis as to why they wouldn't accept this young lady is because of the medications that she had been prescribed. Over medicated. Do you recall seeing that in those records?
Yes, I recall a diagnosis of depression, which was not specified further because there were medicine complications.
Do I have to get the medical records and read them to you?
Yes.
I actually have something in my report, so I
Good.
can read it back
Can
to
you
you.
pull it out and tell me
Yes.
what the discharge diagnosis was?
It is and. Spicy. We have 16 souls over in Big Watty and 340 souls over here. If you haven't followed me, let's all do it together. 3, 2, 1. Hit the follow button. Let me knock myself out. Let's go. Hit it. I'll hit it. I'll hit it. I'm going to hit it. I'm going to follow. Follow. I'm going to follow. I don't know. He is reading medical records.
Which one? 220, I guess. Women and infants hospital record.
I'm not going to answer. Do you really want to know? I'm going to answer. Ooh, we're taking our minute, so let's go ahead and do it.
I'm on page
So,
18 of my report. And
Discharge diagnosis?
the records indicate a diagnosis of generalized anxiety disorder and depressive disorder without further specification, and I quote, due to adverse drug effects.
Anything else?
Yes, they indicate that her chief complaint was feeling numb and crazy depressed, identified passive,
no,
suicidal ideation.
0% possibility.
Well,
I'm sure you can read all the diagnoses. My question, sir, is simple. It's on the
Thank you for
discharge
believing in me,
diagnosis.
Brittany
That's all.
Blackstock.
yes, the discharge diagnosis was anxiety and depression.
And secondary to what?
They didn't specify more about the
Why don't you just
depression
read it?
because it was due to adverse drug effects.
Okay.
Don't forget
And
the
in your
documentary
review
on
of the
August
records,
26th,
sir,
Micah
you then
Miller
see
on
that the
Netflix.
doctor at the women and infants at least was concerned enough about the over prescriptions that she reached out to Dr. Gelada to speak to her.
Dr. Gelada?
Sorry, nurse practitioner Gelada.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Tomorrow.
It's like Captain Major, that type of thing. But
Tomorrow.
Gelada, you know who she is, right?
I do, yes.
Did they
At
reach out
3 o'clock in the morning.
to nurse practitioner Gelada?
I did not see that in the records.
Can we break here, Judge, because I got to get to work.
How do you know all women are
All right,
supporting?
it's
How do you
11
know that?
o'clock. So why don't we take the morning recess at this time? And we'll come back shortly. Okay.
All rise, please. Good. I close the vote.
All right, we are they're taking their morning break, which is usually, or it can be, up to an hour or so. I've seen before, but usually like 20, 30 minutes is the normal break time. Okay, we got 487 souls. Everybody's going to roll up in here because it's break. What are you thinking so far? What are you thinking? Has Reddington got this witness in a hold? Has he got him exactly where he wants him? Challenging his knowledge, though he has a multitude, 40 plus years of experience, even having a group of 3 or 4 women who had taken the lives of their children in 1982. What do you think about that? Danny says this witness is making the defense lawyer look incompetent. If you guys have a heart me, please send one. Please do so. What's up, Lisa? What are you thinking so far? Are you guys watching this? He did? Uh-huh. What do you think about his laughing? Is it a nervous thing? Some people laugh when they're nervous, but they don't, it's not, what do you think about that? Or you think it was intentional? Hmm. 674 souls in here. I'm going to count down from 3. And at the end of 3, I want everybody in this room who has not followed me to all hit the follow button at the same time. I want to see it flooded in the comments that you followed me. 3, watch my finger. 2, watch my finger. 1, hit it. I'm trying to get to 200,000 followers and I can't do it without your help. So if you are in here, you happen to find me on the FYP and you haven't followed me, please do so. Woo! This live so far, we've gotten 39 new followers. I think the doctor is arrogant and that's why he smiles. Yeah. He talks like he's got it all figured out. But does he really have the experience to say that Lindsay Clancy should be found guilty? I guess that's what he's doing if he's testifying for the defense. And let me tell y'all something. I was going to tell y'all this during break, okay? Because I think it was misunderstood by me until I got the information that I needed. How many people in here think that Lindsay Clancy, if found not guilty by reason of insanity, if she's found that way, will be able to, how many people in here are under the notion that she could never ever leave the hospital? Just curious. Oh, but she can't. I want to make sure everybody understands this. That if she is found not guilty by way of insanity, she can be free one day. I'm gonna explain this to you. If found not guilty by reason of insanity, the state will automatically petition to renew her commitment at the 6-month mark, and then every 12 months after that. So 6 months from now, she will be reevaluated. You understand me? And in 1 year, she gets reevaluated again. And then she gets reevaluated every year for release. Now, at each yearly review, the hospital superintendent must state whether she remains in danger due to mental illness. Historically, Defendants in similar cases remain committed for decades, and many spend the rest of their lives in state custody. So it's not likely, but it's possible. Andrea Yates was found not guilty by way of insanity and turns down her yearly review. Do you think Lindsay would turn down her review? Here's typically what happens so we understand. Years 1 through 3, okay, is restricted entirely to a locked maximum security psychiatric ward under constant supervision, which is the phase that she's in now. Thank you, Amy, for the heart. Thank you. Okay. So it's been 3 years. So years 4 through 6. So this would be what the phase she's going into after conviction. Non-conviction. I don't know what you call it. Years 4 through 6. Hypothetical transition to a medium security unit with heavily monitored, on guard, on grounds, walking privileges. Years 7 plus, transition to a highly structured, locked residential group home, followed eventually by supervised outpatient care. So, if she all of a sudden gets better, in 7 years, mind you, she's in her early 30s, she could be out into the world again. So I wanted you to understand that it's not that she would be in the hospital for forevermore. That's right, Jordy. It's and then forever get the care she needs. It's that she would have to stay there. There's a process. So you're looking at a 7 to 10 year process, but she can get out of there. We have 726 souls in here. 80,000 likes. I'm going to challenge you to get to 100,000 likes. If you're just joining us, we are on break now for the Lindsay Clancy trial. Hit the follow button right there if you haven't done so already. It's totally free to do, and it is your way of supporting content creators by giving them a follow and helping to build community. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Angela. Thank you. I really appreciate that. What's up, Sandra? Thank you for your follows, everybody. And if you have a heart me, thank you. I appreciate that. So I was confused because I actually thought myself that she wouldn't be able to get out. I thought there's no way, but there is way. Now knowing that she has the possibility to get out within 10 years, does that change your opinion? Does that change your opinion? For the most part, yes, I saw the woman in green. For the most part, everybody is saying no. What if she gets out in 10 years and she has another child? Would your opinion change then? Wow. All right. In your heart of hearts, really and truly, don't even think about going with the TikTok flow, okay? Do you believe that the medicines caused an external voice that told her to do what she did? Do you really, truly believe that she heard her voice inside of your heart? I see a few yeses in here. Lady in Red says no. What could have been done differently by Patrick to help prevent this disaster? Divorce, not leaving her with the kids. He should have supported her. I see that. Helping her more. Not cheat and be more involved. Mm. What should Patrick have done when she said, I'm thinking about harming the children? What should have been his next move? I see you, Jennifer, on YouTube. Why do you think Patrick wasn't charged with anything to do with, is there even a law that he broke? Lady in red. Neglect. He's not a mandated reporter, but he's a mandated husband. What do you do after your wife looks at you and says that? You say, "What's for dinner?" Yeah. Everything falls on the woman. I believe most. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Take the kids and run. Missy says he felt his family because he can't be on her every moment. No, but yes, but that's serious to me. Yeah. Call 911 is what I would have done. Do we have proof though that he was cheating on her? Is there proof out there? I'm pretty sure he was, but I want to know. Somebody mapped them in Costa Rica together like 2 weeks after this happened, didn't they? Or am I getting the timeline wrong? Sarah says no proof. Do you think the loss of 3 children, let me rephrase. Do you feel that Patrick's he lost his 3 children, but he has this amazing life now, I guess is what I'm trying to say. He got money from the GoFundMe in his house, and now he gets to live vicariously with the woman in New York. His wife, by the way, is a doctor. Do you feel like he deserves all that? even given and taking into account the fact that he lost his 3 children. No. No. You guys are very vocal this morning. I love it. Everybody say no. I think I have to agree on that. I know that he lost 3 children, and that's a significant thing, but did it really have to make him a millionaire? All planned. Mm. 936 souls in here. 943 souls in the room right now. Holy freaking acamole. Good morning, Dana. Everybody follow my finger. Yeah, yeah. 3, 2, 1. Hit the follow button if you haven't followed me. It's free to do, totally free, and it is your way of supporting the content creator. If you're coming across me on the FYP, don't lose me. Let's not lose each other. Follow me. You may never see me again, but what if you want to? You're going to have to be able to find your way back. He didn't ask for that. You're correct, but did he do anything to I don't know, yo. I just see Patrick as this scummy husband who ended up with it all at the end. The money, the wife, a new child. And I'm quite pissed over it. You know what? I don't feel like he does. I don't feel like he deserves it. No. No, he doesn't. Yes, it should have went to her care. And she says, April says, I feel like he was already done with her relationship and he didn't care what happened to her. But I do believe that he should have left with the kids. Me too. And says, I think she should have moved into her parents' house. I had a friend who had to do that. He was cheating, got caught, says Americus, given the ultimatum to stay home. How do you think he would have met this woman doctor? How did they meet, given his how did they even connect? He works for Microsoft. She's a doctor. He lives in Massachusetts and she lives in New York. Did he go on Tinder? Yacht club. Marathons. They're runners. Okay. Okay. I got you. I got you. They were both running. He see them tatas a bouncing. He was like, girl. What's your name? What's your number? What are you doing? There's no proof. There's no proof of it, Leanne, but we're all tired and we want to vent. God. Nobody likes Patrick, okay? If you like Patrick, then you must be living under a rock. There ain't nobody on the internet likes Patrick Clancy. But we still talk about Lindsay and her troubles. Yes, we do. Probably. Allison, if you have your own Patrick, you know. Oh my gosh, don't be a Patrick. Don't be a Patrick. Jessica says if he was cheating, and in my opinion, he's guilty along with his new wife. Today's live go, folks, is 1,000 of these little me's. We're almost there. We're halfway there. There's enough people. Just send a couple of me's to me there, and we'll get this goal set. It helps us stay on the algorithm and all that. Tapping is clapping, commenting, following, sharing, reposting. All of those things are here for you to do that are free. That is lovely for interaction. Paulus, thank you for liking the live. I appreciate that. Oh, you guys are throwing down right now. We're almost there. 300 more me's to me. And we've made it. And my gift gallery's open. That's another way to support true crime content creators is fill up their gift gallery. Yes, Jacqueline, we all support the kids. Definitely 100%. Nobody has forgotten that 3 children have lost their life here. Nobody has forgotten that. And I believe they're, if the children could speak, money gun. Thank you, Lady in Red, for the money gun. Thank you for throwing down. I appreciate that. But I think if the children could, oh my word. Anyway, if the children could speak, what do you think they would say? If the children could speak, what do you think they would say about their mom? Do you think they would say, I forgive you? So then, as a society, should we forgive? I know about classes, and I'm glad I never have to take another one. Okay, I saw a comment that says, if we do, essentially, I'll rephrase your statement. But basically, somebody just said, if we do, then we are excusing murder. Forgiveness doesn't mean give her grace. I'm going to do a poll. Actually, is there a mod in here? Can you make a poll that says, the poll needs to be, do you think her children have forgiven her? Because I know that the children are in heaven, and I know that only forgiveness exists in heaven. There is no hate. Exactly, Miss Love. That's what I was saying. Yeah. Or what, damn? What you gonna do? What you gonna do about it? Oh, okay, I'll do it. I'll do it, Daisy. Sorry. I'll delete the polls here. I think it's only me that can delete them. Where do you create a poll at? I've already forgotten. I don't even see the option for it. Oh. I do not have a poll option all of a sudden. I feel like a whole bunch of people failed her, but I feel like the one that's most important that failed her is Patrick. Yeah. I feel like Patrick Clancy, when he lays down at night, has to think about the children he's lost, but he also has to think about all of the ways in which he failed Lindsay. Yeah. The other live goal is this little seal. We only need 5 more. We're 50% away from our live goal. And I've been live now a couple of hours. So if you can throw one, please do so. It goes to support the platform and what I do here. If you can't totally understand, still tapping is clapping. We did reach 105,000 likes. Thank you for your follows too. I really appreciate those. Thank you. He failed her by being a loser. No, seriously, he failed her by not taking the children out of the house when she said, I'm offing them. I feel like I want to. There's the poll right there under my finger. You want to click the poll right there under my finger. Right there it is. And the question is, that is not the right poll. Where did the poll go? Wrong one. Oh, he didn't do it. I mean, he didn't physically do it. He didn't physically do it. Okay. The for real poll is up. It's right here. You're just going to click on that. The question is, do you think her children will forgive her? It is up for another 45 seconds. Do you think her children have forgiven her? "35 seconds left on the poll. I'm not defending nobody. I'm a fact. It's an honest question, Carrie. I'm just curious on what people think. I find it fascinating. It's an honest question. You know why the question's important in the poll? Because um we as humans need we as humans find it hard to forgive. But heaven's celestial bodies forgive, and their children are in heaven. So 75% of you think that her children will forgive her or have, and 25% of you think the answer is no. I think their forgiveness does matter. I think it matters to Lindsay. Bye. I think it matters to Lindsay, don't you? I'm just curious. I'm just asking. Melissa on YouTube says Patrick should have made sure those kids were safe. Absolutely. That's my biggest problem with Patrick. My biggest problem isn't that Patrick pranced around like nothing was wrong, met another woman, and then it just has went on with his life. My biggest problem is that Patrick did not remove the children from the home when she said, I'm having these thoughts of them getting sick and dying or me doing something to them. What's up, Poppy? Parker, I think the answer would be yes. I think the answer would be yes. We don't forgive him right now. We're pissed. Yes, they're on a break right now. They are still on the break. And I don't know how long ago. Let me look back and see. They've been on break for 30 minutes now. So they should be back any moment. Yeah. So I cannot. I have been in psychosis. I have been, for real. I have been. So, don't come in here thinking that I don't have any experience with psychosis or mental health issues. Because I'm just about as fucking crazy as they come. Okay. But I would still feel like I had the common sense. Tell me if I'm wrong. That if I hear a voice in the room telling me to do something and I look around and there's no voice there, wouldn't I say no? Or wouldn't I be like, hello, there's people talking to me and there ain't nobody there. Somebody come get me. No, I would never slur to my children or anyone. But you can't compare everybody's psychosis and mental health is different compared to their own. So you can't say, but would you? Spread the positive energy. I have been in psychosis, ma'am. I know my medical history. You do not. Don't make yourself look like an idiot. I cannot process it then. I cannot process the audio of somebody else's voice on the outside. But doesn't mean I've not been in psychosis. It just means I've not been in that kind of psychosis. Dana, thank you for the heart. Thank you. I appreciate that. Ooh. Laura says, I've been bipolar all my life and I have 2 children, and that was a thought in my head. What was a thought? Be careful coming up in here and talking. Might get CPS called on you by somebody. I'm just saying, watch what you say. Thank you for the 100 means to me. Thank you. I am invoking conversation. I'm not coming up with excuses. And my name is Steph, not this woman. Come on, Bose. Hi, it's good to see you. It's been forever. No, I can't. And I'm not claiming to I'm trying to understand it. And to understand something, you have to ask questions. Connie's Buttersworth. They are not back. Well, we might be delayed. I might have a delay feed. Yeah, they're coming back. Let's take a listen. You guys want to watch this with me? I'm on You Talk Together. If you want to come over there, it's if you want to watch it with me and comment over here and interact over here on YouTube.
All right, jurors enter.
There's 9 souls watching me on YouTube and 640 here. Thank you, guys.
This court's now in session to be seated, please.
Your Honor, for the purpose of the record, we return back to the trial of Commonwealth versus Lindsay Clancy. All parties are present, including the defendant and including the 18 jurors.
All right. Attorney Reddington?
Thank you. So I now have, sir, Exhibit 220, which would be the records
31
from
souls,
the Women and
welcome.
Infants Hospital that you read prior to coming in here today, correct?
Yes.
And when you read the records, would you agree with me, sir, that there was a history of present illness, which means they would ask Lindsay questions about how she felt, what her medications were, things like that, right?
Yes, I would.
And when you were reviewing this, did you note that she indicated that she was feeling, and I quote, because it's in quotes, crazy, depressed, numb to all emotion, end quote, quote, can't feel love, end quote, quote, my life is becoming a disaster, end quote. You saw those?
Are you quoting from the records or from my report?
Records, Exhibit 220.
Okay, yes, I would agree that those were words that were used when I reviewed the records.
And when you were talking with Lindsay, did you ask her what she meant by saying she can't feel love?
Yes, she said that she felt like a shell. She felt hollow. She felt like a zombie. She felt emotionally flat as a pancake, which is also one of the phrases that was used in those records to describe her mood.
My life is becoming a disaster, quote, can't feel fear, end quote. What did that mean? Did you ask anything like that? Can't feel fear.
I didn't ask her specifically about can't feel fear. She indicated that she couldn't feel things emotionally that. So.
Worried that she is, quote, messed up beyond repair, end quote. That was in the records, correct?
That was several places, yes, including the records.
Quote, takes all the effort in the world just to breathe, end quote. That was in the records, correct?
Yes.
And in the interviews of friends and family, would you agree in this time frame, which was in December, to the end of December, that she was having difficulty even getting out of bed?
Yes.
She felt very heavy. She couldn't even walk. She had difficulty with her personal hygiene. Correct?
Yes.
Was worried about how she's going to take care of her kids and feed them and watch them while Patrick was working, right?
Yes.
And one of her goals, and I quote, was to come off meds and be able to sleep. end quote.
Yes.
Now, insomnia, you agree with me, is very serious.
Oh, I
symptom.
would absolutely agree with you.
I mean,
Yes.
that can lead to any number of things, right?
Yes.
Can even lead to psychosis, right?
Yes.
Okay. I asked you about the treatment plan and recommendations that the district attorney had asked you about as well. And if I may, and if you need to look at it, let me know.
Sorry, YouTube.
It says treatment plan, admit to DHP. Do you know what DHP is?
No.
Okay. Medication, recommended tapering off Seroquel, starting with 200 milligrams tonight and follow up with outpatient provider. That would be who, Gelada?
At the time, it could have been Gelada or Tufts.
And then indicating, sir, that diagnosis that we talked about, if I may approach, can you, right here, just read number 1 and 2?
Number 1 is GAD, which stands for generalized anxiety disorder. Number 2 is depression.
I can't hear him. I don't like it when he gets away from the mic.
Out due to adverse drug effects.
I have no idea what he's asking. I
When
can't
you
hear.
rule out, you have a concern about adverse drug effects, one of the things that I imagine one would do is to reach out to the person that's prescribing the drugs, right?
It's possible. There could be other strategies as well. You could change the medication. You could discontinue it. There could be a number of things.
And when you read the record, sir, again, page 9 on the treatment plan, did you make note of the fact, and I quote, of note, we attempted to reach current outpatient provider Rebecca Gelada, NP, but did not receive a call back. You see that?
I may have seen that. I didn't note it in what I wrote here.
In any event, patient plans to reach out to previous provider who would be Jennifer Tufts, and she did that, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, one of the other things that you had made reference to, sir, is that you relied on is when her husband came home and found Lindsay on the ground in the snow after she had jumped out the window. He spoke with her, is what you told us, jury. Right?
Yes.
And can you tell us again what it is that he said to her and what she said to him?
He said, "What did you do?" And she said, "I tried to kill myself." And then he said, "Where are the kids?" And she said, "In the basement."
Now, what is your source of that information, sir?
It was in the records, and I also did a collateral interview with Patrick Clancey.
Did you listen to the 911 tape?
No, I did not.
If I tell you, would you be surprised, sir, that she had significant damage, not only to her back, her spine, and was hemorrhaging, but also to her throat?
No, I would not be surprised. She injured herself very badly when she jumped out that window.
If I suggest to you, sir, that if you listen to the 911 tape as it relates to Patrick Clancey interacting with her, that she can only make grunting noises, would you be surprised at that?
I would be surprised, yes.
And you never listened to that tape?
I did not.
Went into McLean Hospital, and that would be the locked wards of McLean Hospital. She was there for 5 days, correct?
That's correct.
And then she was released at her request to attend Cora's birthday, right?
Yes.
When she was released, would you agree, sir, that, well, while she was there, she continued to describe her mood as numb, denying things like that she's not having hallucinations and suicidal thoughts or homicidal thinking at the time, and that would be prior to her discharge. Is that right?
There was a lot in that question, so if you could break it down for me, I'd appreciate
No,
it.
I'm just going to ask, sir, if, would you agree with me that she indicated what her mood was prior to discharge, right? Well, as a doctor, you're not going to let somebody walk out the door of a locked ward in a hospital without making sure that, in your opinion, that it's okay for the person to be released to their home, family, things of that nature, right?
I'm looking at the part of my
Sir,
report.
can you understand my question? I don't care about your report. I'm asking you about when someone is in a hospital, you don't release them unless you feel they're not a danger to themselves or others, right?
Yes.
Okay.
The answer to that question is yes.
And she was released, right? From the hospital.
Yes,
And she then was allowed to go home and go to her daughter Cora's birthday, right?
that's correct.
And this was on January 5?
January 5, yes.
And she was described in the records as being cooperative and pleasant, right?
Nothing reminds you of how much you rely on your air conditioner like the first really hot day in East Tennessee. Schedule Pipe Wrench's $79
myself over here on YouTube. Please tap, tap, tap. There's 436 souls in here. Today's live goal is, oh my gosh, we're so close. We only need 4 more seals. Support a starving content creator. Throw one today. Thank you, Nay.
She's describing, according to your testimony yesterday, symptomology
Wow.
that you said of combined 2 and 3. That would be on the little diagram you put up on the board, right? For the jurors to look at, the blue
Thank you,
thing that you had with
Mama.
the 1, 2,
Thank you,
3, 4,
Mama.
5, 6, 7.
The PowerPoint slide, yes.
Right. So you combine 2 and 3 on the slide, but you talked about this before, is what you indicate. And this is after she started taking the medication. Anxiety didn't get better.
My dog has
She had
come in here
difficulty,
because
great
it's time for him
difficulty
to go
with
potty.
insomnia,
So I'm going
and
to
that
take
she
him
was
outside,
numb,
and I'll be
right?
right back.
Yet again, right?
Yes,
And a
correct.
zombie, yet again, right?
Yes.
And she didn't see any improvement. Is that right, sir?
No, that's not right.
Okay, well, quote, in fact, she thought it was getting a lot worse. And so basically what she thought is that the symptoms that she was experiencing following taking the medications prescribed beginning in October, she said the symptoms were getting worse, particularly new symptoms, which were insomnia. It's page 126 of your testimony. Yes, okay. All
I
right.
misunderstood your
That's
question.
all right, no problem.
Sorry.
That's okay. And then you further indicated that moving on to number 5 on your chart, one of the things she also said is that she was focusing on making the anxiety, helping the anxiety getting better through medication, right?
Yes,
It was also counseling. She went to counseling through Latasha Dukes. Miss Gelada was still treating her, correct?
the counseling was limited, but yes, that is correct. She was involved in some counseling.
So it was limited. Is that a bad thing?
In
Did this woman not want to
Objection.
go to anybody that would help her, sir? Are you trying to tell the jury that she was avoiding
Objection.
help?
Sustained. Next question.
So it was limited? How is it limited?
It was short-term and supportive as opposed to something where in the field you might pick a cognitive behavioral therapist, which is empirically supported for things like anxiety and depression and patience and things like that.
Who makes that decision? Does a person like this make that decision, sir? Is it up to the patient to make a decision of cognitive, whatever it is you just said?
Yes, it's certainly one of the things that an individual can do is looking for a referral from somebody who would be a cognitive behavior therapist or something like that. So yes,
Go ahead. I don't want to cut you off.
I'm
All set?
finished. I'm finished.
She was focusing on trying to make this anxiety and make her feelings about her feelings go away. She wanted to be herself again, right?
Yes, that's right.
Now, there's nothing wrong with that, right? for a person to want to do that?
Not at all.
Okay. You indicated that she was concerned about resolving her problems, and the district attorney then asked you about if this is some type of her taking control of her life. You indicated that she is trying to take control of her life. Remember that?
I testified that it was important that she felt in control and that she could make things happen and improve things through focusing and discipline and hard work.
And that's what you already agreed, that she was a person that wasn't afraid of hard work, right?
Yeah, on the contrary, she worked hard and she got a lot of results from working.
So that's
hard.
not an issue that would be something that would be a black mark against her, that she's trying to take control of her life as it relates to these medications and what they're doing to her and her internal feelings of postpartum, if that's what she believed.
I was not trying to develop black marks against her. I was just
Oh,
trying to
I'm sorry. I
describe
thought
how
you
she
said-
thinks and
No, let him
feels and
finish.
behaves.
Sorry, you're right.
Right. Next question.
I thought you said yesterday that, you put 2 marks over this category, 3 marks over this category. This is possible, that's possible. You were considering these things, right?
That was on another issue.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as it relates to resolving the problems, that would include talking to
Oh,
doctors
no,
about
did y'all
different
have to listen
medications to
a
try,
commercial?
researching medications on her own. This is your testimony. Asking friends and family for tips. Really? You're supposed
got
to
the
ask
miracle
friends
brush.
and family for tips about
It's
your
here.
mental psychosis, your mental state?
I'm not sure what the question is.
Well, Dr. Helbron testified yesterday as it relates to, in response to questions from the district attorney about her resolving her problems, including talking to
Thank you,
doctors
Dee.
about different medications to try, researching medications on her own, and asking friends and family for tips.
Objection, is there a question?
Yeah, the question is that good medical advice, sir, to tell a sick person who comes to a doctor for help to go ask their friends and family for tips?
One of the things I would say is that when you want very much to improve, you of course ask your doctor and whoever else you're working with, but you might also ask other people in the family or friends any recommendations that they might have. That's sort of something that you do.
And when you say sort of something you do, what are you referring to? The women that come to a doctor and the postpartum depression, postpartum psychosis, and ask for help, that they should go talk to their neighbors?
I think that one of the things that's kind of a natural human inclination is to talk to people who are close to you, friends and family and so on, and say, this is a problem I'm having. Do you have any advice or can you help in any way?
And then over the course of the time that she was going through this experience into late January, she had a lot of providers offer a lot of diagnoses, and there were a lot of complicated considerations, so much so that the diagnosis that was given to her, being at that time adjustment disorder with anxiety and depressions, generalized anxiety disorder, major depressive disorder, bipolar disorder 2, postpartum depression, postpartum psychosis, postpartum stress disorder. Those are your words, sir.
Yes.
And that was all in January, wasn't it? Right? Stop saying no.
Are you asking me whether she had all the symptoms of all those disorders in January?
Your word, sir, for late January.
Objection. If we could have the question and the response.
Yeah. Good. Next question. Good.
Did I just read right what you said in your testimony yesterday?
I'm not understanding your question, Mr.
Okay.
Reddington.
She also had psychotropic medication with adverse reaction. Your words to this jury yesterday.
Yes.
What is psychotropic medication with adverse reaction? What does that mean?
It's pronounced psychotropic. And
Sorry?
Oh, okay. It's psychotropic medication is medication that is prescribed to help treat symptoms of mental or emotional disorder. And it helps to improve, hopefully, the symptoms that you experience. And there was another part to your question, I think.
Yeah, it's called adverse.
Yes. These medications are available because for what they're prescribed for, they help most people. They have to go through clinical trials and all sorts of things. But for a few people, there are side effects and what we call adverse reactions, and they don't help. In fact, they might make things worse. And it appeared to me from reviewing the records that for Ms. Clancy, she's one of those few people where the reactions were very different, very poor, they were not the kind of reactions that were designed to have the medication prescribed for and improve the symptoms. She just had sort of the opposite happen.
Look at her. You look at her, sir. Did she have adverse reactions in your mind after you evaluated her, looked at the medical records, and looked at all of the scripts that she had? Do you believe that she had adverse reactions?
Sustained as to the form.
Do you believe that she had adverse reactions?
To the medication that she had been prescribed since September?
Did she have adverse reactions, sir, up to the time of late January when you had no problem answering questions for the DA yesterday? Did she have adverse reactions into late January?
I believe she was having adverse reactions from the time she began taking the medication in October up to and including January.
Do you think that the treatment that she got from Tufts and Gelada was good?
Objection.
No, overruled.
I don't know. That's not something that I evaluated as part of my evaluation of Ms. Clancy.
You testified yesterday that she was returning to exercising in December. And then the district attorney followed up and indicated, well, she went to the Kingsbury Club in December. Remember that question?
I don't actually.
No? Do you know what the Kingsbury Club is? It sounds pretty fancy.
I don't actually.
Do you know that it's just an exercise place with a pool? You can bring your kids in a little restaurant?
Once again, I don't know what the Kingsbury Club is.
Well, there's no problem with a woman trying to exercise to try to avoid drugs and try to get herself out of any depressed state that she might be in after having a baby, right? No problem with that.
On the contrary, it's a good idea if she can do it, and it's something that she used
Throw
exercise all her life
That's
to
right.
help manage her mood and do better.
One of the questions the DA asked you yesterday is about the manic state or hypomanic state, and exercise or things of that nature. And you answered that she did some exercise. Well, she did more than some exercise right after having Callan, didn't she?
She did.
What did she do?
She got up at 4 a.m. She ran 3 miles. She did half an hour on the Peloton, did an exercise class. So she was doing a fair amount of exercise.
How about a road race shortly after she had the baby?
Yes, it's my understanding that she did that too.
During
Yes.
that period of time while she's exercising and running and road races and all the rest, sir, would you agree, sir, that that coincided with the same time that they were involved with the cleaning out of the garage and removing property and selling things? You agree with that?
Yes.
You agree that at the same time she was doing the beach blanket bingo or whatever it is on television, where she's selling people things like videos and lost money doing it?
Would I agree what?
Would you agree that she was selling videos online and it turned out that it was a scam and she lost her money?
I would agree that she was involved in something like that. I didn't know
Okay,
that she
so
lost
we
her
have the
money.
exercise, we have the scam, we have the hypo
Yeah,
cleaning.
I've
all
not
of
heard
that.
about no scam.
But that is just a little bit indicative.
I was
of what you
demonstrating this
said to
brush.
jury that you were struggling over, trying to find manic, hypomania.
Did I miss that?
Agree
The
with that?
scam?
I would agree that those could be symptoms of a manic episode, which I was having a hard time identifying as she was clearly experiencing something like that. But I did end up with a
Melissa, I'm
diagnosis
lost.
of
I didn't hear
bipolar
nothing.
2, and that reflected my thinking that some of those things that Mr. Reddington has just described could be symptoms of a manic disorder, although less serious than a bipolar 1 diagnosis.
Okay. District Attorney asked you about anxiety that you felt that she was suffering. Your
Oh,
answer was, well,
gotcha.
if it works.
Justin, will you approach sidebar?
Sure.
Sidebar. While we're at the sidebar, everybody, tap, 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 tap. We're having a sidebar. There are 400 souls right here. There are 30 souls over on big YouTube. Did you see me demonstrating this? This is in my TikTok shop. It's the Miracle Brush. I didn't believe it. I had no belief in this brush whatsoever. And it works. My hair is really hard to get to lay down on my head, and it effing works. So grab this if you can. It's really worth it. Otherwise, tapping is clapping. We're at 126,000 likes. That's amazing. I appreciate you guys. We have 28 souls over here on the big YouTube. And we also have people watching from Facebook too. Let's not forget our Facebookers. Thank you so very much. Today's live goal, and holy cow, somebody, oh my gosh, you guys are really taking care of me today. You have reached 2 of the 3 goals that I set. 2 of the 3. So you really are amazing. So I'm going to set a new one. I'm going to change it to 500 little me's. It's not going to let me do it. It's only going to let me pin this one, but only if you have it. No, 1,500 is a lot. And somebody actually sent me that. I was like, oh my God, I can't even believe it. I can't even believe it. Do you want me to do a new demonstration of the brush? Listen, I can't. My hair never goes down. A lot of people are looking at this. My hair never gets combed all the way down like I just come out of the salon. This never does not happen because my hair's kind of sort of got a texture to it, and it's just kind of this wild texture where it just kind of sits all the way up, and I don't have any like bangs that lay down. So that's hella amazing. If you can grab that brush. Patrick has testified a few times, Jessica. He really has. So do you think so? It's noon 04. So they're probably going to take a lunch in about 30 minutes. Do you think we're going to reach the other rebuttal witness today? I am. Do you think we're going to, or is this going to happen tomorrow? And then will they get closing done tomorrow? Are we going to be on verdict watch on Thursday? Blue eyes. Oh my God. Oh my girl. Blue eyes. Thank you so very much. Thank you for that. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Oh my gosh. I can't believe somebody threw another one. Oh my gosh. Yes, they are at sidebar. They are at a sidebar. This is not, I mean, we were a little spicy earlier, but Reddington, I don't know if he's tired or what, but he's kind of, I mean, you can look at him and tell. How old is he? 75? Dang, Gina. Is that how old he is? Kudos to him for being able to keep up with this and get up and get dressed and get down there and keep up with this, and that he's still on top of it mentally. Oh my gosh. That's amazing to me. That's what's impressive to me with him is that he rides a Harley? No way. No way. That's amazing. I like that. I hope I'm that feisty when I'm 75.
Creators,
Listen, there's
get a
22
little extra
souls.
with YouTube shopping.
Extra.
Yep, you only need 500 subs to
There's 22 souls watching me on the Big YT. If you want to come over and watch it with us, you're welcome to. We are watching it together over there, like physically watching it. Now, there's people on this app that are able to somehow also watch this at the same time and not get into trouble. 75 is not old, but it's not young. 65 is the retirement age for a reason. So kudos to him for not retiring and keeping going. Guys, I'm going to tell you right now, When I'm 75, honey, I ain't doing shit. So that's why I'm saying kudos to him, yo. But anyway, what was I saying? We've been on here so long. Lord, today. I don't think they're coming back. They're coming back. Oh, deep breath. He took a deep breath. A black belt? That's amazing. He's showing the prosecution something. Sorry.
District Attorney asked you a question yesterday, sir, and it was in reference to doing things, and I quote, like exercise to complement medication and therapy. And your answer, and I quote, well, if it works, if it doesn't work for some people. It and the use effectively over the course of their lives, particularly if they have anxiety that might not fully need treatment, but it's something that might interfere your life a little bit. What did you mean by that?
I mean that exercise is something that isn't useful for managing anxiety for some people, but for other people, it's quite useful.
Okay. In reference to determination as to a manic episode. Your response, sir, was that there were times when she felt, as she described it, after the birth of different children, she felt good. She felt on top of the world. She felt really close to them, her husband and her kids and so on. But it's also something that it didn't look like a manic episode so much that it looked like she was feeling good and getting back into exercise and stuff.
Yes.
That was your answer yesterday. Is that in reference to the struggle that you had to try to get to a manic episode? That's what you said yesterday, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And
the answer is yes. Can I ask about the transcript for her? She can cover it? Okay. When you were talking with her in Tewksbury, either you or the other guy in the hospital, interviewing her one of those 3 days.
yes.
It's at Steph's Case Files on YouTube.
Do you agree with
At
me, sir,
Steph's
that
Case
if a
Files.
person has a memory while they're in a psychosis, that it's very possible that they could be imagining that they did something, but in fact, the facts, objective facts, would show she didn't?
It's possible that being in an actively psychotic condition could affect the way information is processed and therefore could affect the accuracy of their memory.
So, for example, she told you that after she slashed her wrists and after she tried to slit her throat, that she used the knife to cut the screen before she threw herself out the window, right?
Yes.
Was the screen cut?
I understand that it was not.
Did that give you pause?
There are a number of things that I don't think are all that important in terms of memory difficulties and accuracy of memory, and that was one of them.
Do you recall this morning indicating that you recounted that Lindsay told you that she felt, quote, like it wasn't her, end quote, as though she were watching herself commit the killings and that she was simply responding to the voice rather than consciously deciding what to do. Do you remember saying that this morning?
I do, yes.
We just
Would
talked
you
about
agree that
that.
that description is consistent, almost black letter definition with profound disassociation?
My testimony was
No. Is that sir, consistent with profound disassociation?
No, it is
So
consistent.
the answer is no. The answer is no?
Well, I was about to give the rest
I'm
of
sure
the
you were,
answer.
but the answer is no, is what you're saying, right? I just read to you what you testified to this jury this morning, right? Did I?
You
Did I
used,
read, sir? Hello, did I read what your words were this morning?
I don't remember exactly what my words were this
So-
morning.
If Dr. Halbrin told this jury that when Lindsay was talking to you and/or Mac in the hospital, she felt, and I quote, like it wasn't her, as though she were watching herself commit the killings, and that she was simply responding to the voice rather than consciously deciding what to do, end quote. Question is, would you agree, sir, that watching oneself is consistent with disassociation?
Disassociation that is peritraumatic, which is what I testified.
So the answer is yes?
Well, you said profound dissociation, so the answer was no.
Last time I knocked out profound. I'm just asking.
Oh,
is
yeah,
that consistent
okay.
with disassociation?
It is consistent with peritraumatic dissociation.
Okay.
Yes.
And briefly, what is disassociation?
Dissociation is sort of the sense that you are removed from yourself. You're not feeling like yourself. It's something like you're in a position where your sense of time and your sense of self are altered, and it's also the sort of thing where you don't feel as if it's you anymore. Sometimes you feel as though you're watching a body that's you, but it's not really you.
And at disassociation, you'd agree, in the DSM, using that book, is in fact defined as an altered mental state. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And would you agree with me that in your evaluations of Lindsay, after you guys had the chance to speak to her and consider all of the documentation, your opinion ended up, using your words, being in your mind two possible explanations? We talked about that, right?
Yes, we did.
Okay. And then you indicated that there were some possible things that made me believe that there was severe mental illness involved, right?
Yes, there
And
were.
there was severe mental illness involved, right?
There were some possible things that made me think that it might have been a psychotic episode.
Right, but there were severe mental illnesses involved here, right?
Yes, there were.
Okay.
It's just a
And-
question of which kind.
Semantics.
Yes.
You talked about thought broadcasting, right?
Yes, I
And
did.
thought broadcasting, sir, would be if somebody hears a voice and is concerned that somebody else might have heard it, right?
We've already
No.
talked about this. He already
Thought
clarified.
broadcasting.
Ask you what thought broadcasting is. Are you aware that Lindsay Clancy indicated to anybody that she was hearing or having these intrusive thoughts in her mind? Yes or no?
Yes.
Did she indicate that
Hi,
she was
Dan.
afraid that people could read her mind or knew what these thoughts were or whatever they were in her mind? Intrusive thoughts.
She was afraid of that, and so the difference between hallucinations.
All right,
Sure.
hold on,
Dr.
please.
Kirk Hilbrun
I can't be
is
more
on the
clear.
stand.
All right, and then if the Commonwealth wants to follow up, they'll be able to do that.
All right.
Go ahead.
Did she, according to Dr. Halburn's review, all the information in all the hours of time,
Yes.
determine that she was afraid that people could read her thoughts or knew what her intrusive dark thoughts were?
Yes.
Who did she say that to? Not just who?
Well, she said it to me.
Okay?
She said it to Dr. Mack.
Yeah, I'm sure she said it to Mac too. Put you guys aside. Who else, like people, normal people, did she say that to? Not that you're not normal, but I mean people like friends or family or citizens or whatever.
I believe she said it to Patrick.
Okay.
And she may have said it to others as well.
She may have said it to others as well.
I don't remember who else she said it to, but she said it to Patrick.
Well,
to
how
my
can you come in here and
recollection.
testify about a young lady that is saying to people that she's having thoughts that are intrusive and dark, and that she's worried that other people are reading her mind and know about it, and you don't even know who she said it to.
No, overruled.
One of the things that she said is that her thoughts were kind of intrusive and loud, and I mean, that sort of thing. And one of the things that she said was that she thought that because of that, other people might be hearing them or might know what they were.
Like even worried about dropping little Cora off at.
Is
the
he being
school
paid $300 an hour to be here in court?
Read that.
I did read that, and that's one of the reasons I asked her for the difference.
Right, but when I asked you if there were any, so that refreshed your memory, that there was another person that she was concerned about.
Yes, I believe that's right. Yes.
How about her friends? Do you recall her telling her friends that she was?
Why didn't
worried
they
about
subpoena him so
people
they
being
wouldn't have
able
to pay
read
him?
her thoughts?
I do not.
You indicated yesterday that
Or fine
one of the concerns or
tax
one of the
dollars going
issues
to
or
work.
possibilities was at the time of the killings was acute psychosis, right?
I thought one of the possible
Is
explanations.
that, I don't want to let you run off, sir.
No, that, counsel, next question.
Do you agree, sir, that you testified yesterday that at the time of the killings, one of the possible concerns that you had was whether or not there was an acute psychosis?
One of the possible explanations for her motivation and her state.
So the answer is yes, right?
No, overruled.
That's what you said yesterday, right?
What's up, Coco?
Not exactly the way you phrased it, and that's what
Okay.
I'm responding to.
Yeah, no, it's 54K, but it's 54,000.
Yesterday, sir, you were asked, the next part of the evidence or what you saw against acute psychosis, and you referenced this discussion of whether this was postpartum. So let's stop there for a minute. Again, you know that postpartum is not a diagnosis, right?
I do know that, yes.
Okay. But the reason that it was not, as you put it, postpartum is because she was about 8 months away from having given birth to Calvin, right?
Yes.
And most of the explanations from the authorities, like DSM-5, would point to maybe 1 month after birth, or maybe give a little bit, maybe 2 months after birth, or something like that. That's what you said yesterday. To the
Yes.
jury. And what's that based on in Dr. Heldman's mind? What's that cutoff about? 1 month, maybe 2?
It's based on what DSM-5 says, or the
Darlene,
Cleveland Clinic actually
thank you
said
so
6 to
much.
8 weeks.
Thank you so much.
If you
I
look at their
appreciate
website.
that.
So it's based on
Thank you.
accepted authority within the field.
Uh-huh. Is it World Health Organization accepted authority in the field?
It's one accepted authority, yes.
Okay, and what do they say?
I don't know what they say.
But would you be surprised if I told you they say up to a year that a woman can be experiencing postpartum psychosis or postpartum depression? Up to a year or even longer?
There are different kinds of outcomes and time periods that different
I'm not
organizations
asking about
use.
outcomes and time periods. I'm asking about the World Health Organization cutoff for a woman with postpartum depression or psychosis. What's the time frame?
Well, I don't know.
I don't know the time frame.
And then you indicated, now it could be something else. And there was certainly some stuff that I saw that were symptoms of depression and other sorts of things that she experienced in January, but it was given the time, it was less likely, I thought, to be postpartum. What did you mean by that?
I meant that she
Thank you,
was
Rachel.
8 months after giving birth to Callan. And if you look at two sources of authority, which I relied on, the DSM-5 and the Cleveland Clinic, then neither one of those would suggest that postpartum was the more likely explanation as opposed to something else.
So if we put aside,
Folks, I'm going to
The
switch
DSM.
phones.
When was
Stay
the
right here.
DSM?
Don't go anywhere. All I'm doing is switching
Strike
phones
that.
because we're about
would you
to dial
agree that
this
the
one, okay?
DSM virtually
Don't
only
leave.
mentions the
I'll be
whole
paused for about
concept of
30 seconds. I'll be right
postpartum
back.
psychosis, postpartum depression in 2 paragraphs?
I would agree that they don't consider it to be a mental diagnosis in the same sense that
Let me
other
see.
diagnostic areas are described in that manual.
She loves cucumbers.
Think that should change?
No, overrule.
So I know.
Do I think it should change?
Yeah, you.
The way I look at this is that the DSM-5 and the Cleveland Clinic and the World Health Organization reflect different outcomes. And I think that one of the things that they do on the conservative end is they reflect something that is basically a month,
I'm back.
a month or 2 months, and something else on the very extended end is a good bit longer. I
Thank you,
think
Jacqueline.
it depends on a number of things in terms of how it changes, and I'm not in a position to offer informed opinion on that, really.
Obviously.
Objection.
It'll be stricken.
Doctor, if Miss Clancy had a genuine command hallucination, which in fact did cause her to feel compelled to carry out the killing of her children
Yes.
and herself,
Oh, thank you, Kimberly.
would you agree that she lacks substantial capacity
I
to
appreciate
conform
that.
her conduct to the requirements of the law? If
That
in
would-
fact that was a genuine command hallucination that she believed?
That
Coco,
would
thank
depend
you.
on a number of things. It would depend, for
Let's
example,
not go through a number of things. So your answer is
Uh-oh. Fourth commercial. While we're being forced to watch this commercial, there are 302 souls in here. Folks, we've been live for almost 3 hours, so tapping, 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 tapping to keep us on the algorithm is much appreciated.
that would, quote, pop into her head intrusive thoughts that included that her brain was damaged and that she had to kill herself. And she told you that, right?
she did.
Do you believe that she was telling you the truth, sir?
Yes.
Ooh.
I stand corrected in one regard, sir. This morning I started off my questions by asking you about 49 years ago when you published an article on postpartum psychosis, and you agreed. You were in college or something, but in fact, it was not postpartum psychosis. It was about schizophrenia, wasn't it?
I'd have to think back 49 years, but I think that's right. Yes.
You were transcripts of interviews with 32 schizophrenic patients, 15 male, 17 female, all with primary or secondary paranoid symptomology, were edited only to delusion-relevant material. Does that refresh your memory, sir?
It does.
Okay, so it wasn't postpartum psychosis. You've never written about postpartum psychosis, right?
That's right.
Okay. So
He testified that
finally,
he
sir, would
had
you
wrote
agree?
about it.
And if you don't, just say, no, I don't agree. Postpartum depression. Are there tests that can be administered to? I'm not talking about a guy who's upset about his job. I'm talking about a woman who's just had a baby, who's going through the postpartum period, exhibiting signs of depression and or psychosis, okay?
Yes.
All right. Would you agree with me? Person can complain that they're less able to laugh or see the funny side of their life. Is that a symptom, sir? If you know?
Are you asking me if that's a symptom of postpartum depression
Thank you
specifically
for
or
being here,
depression
Coco.
more
I
generally?
appreciate
Oh,
you.
no,
Thank
I'm
you.
asking you about postpartum depression, sir. That's what I'm talking about right now.
They
All
are.
Do you agree that a patient would complain that they're less able to laugh and see the funny side of life?
That's a symptom of depression.
All right, you're going
Could
to
be
tell me it's a
postpartum
symptom
or
of
it could be-
depression constantly. My
All right.
question is, do you agree that it's a symptom of postpartum depression?
Yes.
Okay.
Gotta stretch.
Not looking forward to things.
And let me just say.
Oh, no, I don't want to let you do anything. Can you just tell me if
Don't.
letting someone stopping looking forward to things is a complaint that is common to postpartum depression?
Yes.
Anxious and worried for no good reason.
Yes.
And Lindsay complained of anxiety and being worried for no good reason constantly, right?
Yes.
She blamed herself for a lot of things in her life. Isn't that right?
She did. Yes.
And she was not looking forward to the future. She was not happy with her life in the sense of the way she felt and wanted to go back to the way she was, right?
That's right.
How about complain? When I say complain, I don't mean complaining. It's just that that's the language you guys use. Complained about overwhelmed. Her day is overwhelming.
Yes.
So unhappy that she would cry constantly.
Yes.
Sad and miserable.
Yes.
Thoughts of harming herself, which is, according to the Mass Department of Mental Health, a flag in and of itself. She had thoughts of harming herself, right?
She did.
Okay, so those are all of the postpartum depression symptoms that a person can have, according to Mass General Hospital's 3-year review of postpartum depression and psychosis. So she hit all of these symptoms, right?
Those are symptoms of postpartum depression. They're also symptoms of depression.
I don't
broadly.
care what I'm asking you, sir. Are they symptoms of postpartum depression?
Yes.
All right. And there's a tool that psychologists can use with a woman who's coming to a doctor for help because of the symptoms of postpartum depression. Is that correct?
Yes.
And what is that tool?
I don't know what the tool is, but I'm sure there is a measure of it. Yes. Of postpartum depression.
Okay. Have you ever used that measure?
I have not.
Have you ever read about it?
Possibly.
Do you even know what it is?
I don't know what it is.
How about postpartum psychosis, sir? Same study. Hearing voices or a voice commanding a person to act. That's in the DSM, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Command hallucinations. Yes.
Delusional beliefs or distorted reality is a symptom that a person can complain of, right?
Delusional beliefs. Yes. Or
And
fixed false
distorted
beliefs.
reality.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just next statement. Confused, disorganized thinking. She had that, right? It's in your report, I think, that she was baking or making a pie or something and forgot where she was.
She was, yes, she was having trouble with memory, attention, and concentration.
All right. Anxious and worried for no good, strike that, apologize. Severe sleep deprivation, she had that, right?
Yes.
Rapid mood swings, she had that, right?
Not sure she had that.
Well, how about the time that Patrick told you that she would repeatedly find herself in the living room on the sofa and bury her head in the pillow and rock back and forth, crying hysterically?
When you said mood swings, that implies that at one moment you're feeling down and sad and depressed, and in another moment you're feeling quite differently. So
Right, and
I
then
don't
she
see
took
that
the kids.
mood swings she had.
Oh, all right, go ahead.
Go ahead, Doctor.
Yeah, I don't see that she was experiencing mood swings so much as she was experiencing symptoms of sadness and feeling down and lack of motivation, which are symptoms of depression.
What is akathisia? AKASTHESIA, I believe.
Yeah, I'd have to look that one up.
Oh, okay. Feeling overwhelmed. She felt overwhelmed?
She did, yes.
Not herself, family seeing the change? Obviously, right?
Please be nice.
Repeat the question, please.
Yeah, not herself.
Don't spam. You're
Semicolon.
out of here.
Family seeing the change.
Yes, correct.
Lord knows. I mean, the mother-in-law, the
Who are you to
father-in-law,
tell
her
people
mother,
what
her
they
father, her
deserve?
husband, neighbors, people could see the change in her, right?
Yes, they could.
Okay. Continuing on with postpartum psychosis. Not herself, thoughts of harming her children. That's a big red flag, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. Thoughts of suicide. She complained of that, right?
Baby,
Correct.
ba, ba, ba.
Poor insight. She had poor insight at the end of January, didn't she?
I would not say she had poor insight. No, I think she understood pretty much where she was and the difficulty she was having, and was aware of a number of things about that.
That's all I have, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay.
Attorney Sprague.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Recross. Recross.
Doctor, those symptoms that Attorney Reddington just read you about postpartum depression, are those also symptoms for general depression?
There are symptoms for general depression. They are to some extent symptoms of major depression, which is a more extreme example, a more extreme version of general depression. And there are also symptoms of bipolar disorder and bipolar 2. And I thought at the end of this evaluation that her correct diagnosis was bipolar 2.
And why was
What's
that?
wrong with people coming up in here?
One of the reasons, as I testified yesterday,
I'm
is
like,
that she has
what?
been in Tewksbury for 3.5 years.
Because they
And
took
that
the
is her
time to go make a
diagnosis
whole
of
ass
record
new
bipolar
account,
disorder.
come back in here to say
But
the same thing, only
What
to
that
get
indicates to
reblocked.
me
Talk
is
about
that
time
having had the
wasted in
chance
your
to
life
see her
that you could never
prescribe
get back.
medications
Oh my God, they're
and
back.
do a number of things,
For the
that
love
they
of
really
gosh.
think that she has a mood disorder of a fluctuating kind, a bipolar sort, as opposed to a major depression or some other kind of disorder.
Now, you were asked by
Ah.
defense counsel about the fact that you interviewed
Honey,
Ms.
go
Clancy
to
3
Walmart
years, a little over
shop.
3 years after she killed her children.
Come over
And
here.
your
Let's go
testimony
do
was it's
something.
better to interview the person as soon as possible, right?
Correct.
But you were able to watch Dr. Resnick's interview of the defendant about 3.5 months after the incident happened, correct?
Thank you for
Yes.
your sticker.
And you were able to review all of her records leading up to when she killed the children, and then
Thank
after
you.
she killed the
Thank
children,
you,
all the way
Teddy
up to
Betty.
present day, correct?
Yes.
Is that
Oh.
something that you typically have when you do these forensic
No.
reviews, that much information, medical history and information on a patient?
I had more records information in this case than I have ever had
How are they
in my
creating
career.
And
counts in
so,
seconds?
and also, were you aware that you weren't allowed to interview the defendant until the court gave permission?
I really wasn't. I didn't know how the process worked.
Get new material.
But as soon as
Abraham.
you were informed that you could meet with the defendant, you did, correct?
Yes.
And the fact that you had all of these resources, the records, the prior interviews,
Thank
the
you, Laffy.
recorded interviews of witnesses, the criminal file, the collateral interviews that you did that in any way aid you in overcoming whatever deficits you might have had in interviewing her 3 years later?
It did, yes.
And how so?
Because
you don't
of
even wanna
how
know.
extensive the records were from different people, different observations, different times, and so on, they in effect created something that I would have tried to do myself if there had been fewer records available. So I would have tried, for example, to
I'm going to object to what he would have done.
No, overruled.
I would have tried to conduct a number of collateral interviews. I would have tried to go out and get some of the records myself if they'd not been available and provided to me. Usually I have to work a lot harder to get 10% of the records that I had in this case.
And you were provided with her complete psychiatric history from September through present day, correct?
I was.
Now, you were asked about being retained by our office and speaking to the prosecutors in the case. Did anyone from my office or myself or Ms. Buckingham ever tell you what your decision or what your evaluation should say in this case?
No.
And did we ever put any pressure on you in any way, shape, or form to come out on what defense counsel calls our side?
No.
And he also asked you about your interview itself with the defendant. At any point in time, was your conversation with Ms. Clancy hostile or aggressive or rude in any way?
No.
Thank you, guys.
Did she ever ask you to stop and say she couldn't do it any longer?
She did not.
In fact, she declined a break at one point in time, correct?
For one of the days, yes. That was the third day.
prior to reading the records in this case, did you form an opinion as to what her criminal responsibility was?
No, in fact,
Yeah,
I
Kimberly.
worked very hard to avoid forming any kind of opinion until very late in the process when I'd had the chance to go through all the records, do the 3 days of evaluation, do the collateral interviews, and get everything I could have, because that's the kind of thing that
Darling.
helps you handle
Thank you for the
what's been referred to as
gingerbread man.
confirmation bias, which is
Thank you.
starting out with a good idea or a conclusion and then being drawn to the things that support that and avoiding the things that don't.
Would an example of confirmation bias be giving a press conference in which you diagnose a patient before you even do an evaluation of that patient? And then finding that same diagnosis that you initially made?
Well, an example of that would be saying before you had ever met with somebody that I have a diagnosis, and then meeting with them and then possibly resulting in your providing that diagnosis. So it could well be an influence of associated with confirmation bias.
Now, you were asked about the defendant telling you that she didn't like to leave the children and how that was, how that impacted your evaluation of the defendant. And I think you were cut off on your answer. So if you could just tell us what you saw in terms of, or heard from the defendant in terms of her not wanting to leave her children and how that impacted or influenced your evaluation.
That was an important consideration.
Objection, it's not responsive.
No, I'll allow, go ahead.
If you could answer.
Yeah. That was an important consideration because one of the things that would go through your mind if you decided to take your own life would be something very important to you, like your children. And over a number of years and in a number of different...
Sorry?
This is way outside the scope of cross-examination.
No, I would allow this. Go ahead.
Proceed.
Over a number of years and in a number of different contexts, she didn't like to leave the kids. So the question might be if you were possibly inclined to think about taking your own life, what would happen with the kids? And would they suffer without you? And could other people take care of them? And that turned out to be something that I thought was consistent with not wanting to leave your kids and not wanting them to suffer and so on. It all went together in how she thought about her own kids, felt about her own kids.
You were also asked by defense counsel in cross-examination about the defendant's concerns about taking Zoloft while breastfeeding. Do you recall in your interview with the defendant when she mentioned that as a result of her practice in labor and delivery as a nurse, she was aware that millions of pregnant women and postpartum women took Zoloft with no problem?
I do not recall that, no.
But that would be in your interview if it happened?
Yes.
Now, defense counsel asked you about your answer from direct testimony about all of the prescriptions and the different doctors being confusing. But being confusing was your description of of seeing all that information, not the defendant's description, correct?
Yes, that's right.
Thank you.
And could you explain that and how it was confusing in what way?
She had a number of diagnoses that people assigned to her, a number of symptoms. And one of the things that she experienced is that people were saying that she had something pretty minor, adjustment disorder with anxiety or adjustment disorder with mild depression or things like that, all the way up to things that were really major and really severe, postpartum psychosis, that sort of thing. And there were a number of things in between. So she was not sure what they were saying, and she was not sure whether they were prescribing the right medication for her, and even if it was something that she experienced, whether she was reacting badly to that medication. So that's basically my understanding, that there were a lot of things that people said, mental health care providers. Some of them were pretty minor as far as what was wrong with her, and some of them were not minor.
And in terms of the defendant being unsure about the effects the medication was having on her.
Did you know you can work while protecting your SSDI benefits? Contact Allsup Employment Services, an authorized Social Security ticket to work provider.
Was associated with that medication as well. So she thought it was really affecting her badly.
And after she went to McLean Hospital, she was no longer on any of those medications that she had been on from September through December, correct?
Correct.
And she had been weaned off the Seroquel in particular, correct?
Yes.
And so after leaving McLean Hospital, the two medications she was on upon discharge was trazodone and Valium, correct?
Yes.
Now, you were asked about thought broadcasting and the defendant thinking that people could hear her thoughts. And you said there was some difference there between thought broadcasting and what the defendant explained to you was happening. Could you tell us what she said to you in your interview and how that impacted your evaluation?
Yes, she said that they were thoughts. They were unwelcome and intrusive thoughts, but they were thoughts just like many people would have. And if they were particularly insistent, or they were particularly vivid thoughts, then you might think that, oh, people can pick this up from what I'm experiencing. But that is not a psychotic symptom, having vivid thoughts. On the other hand, if you hear a voice like somebody might hear my voice, it's an external sort of a thing, then that is very likely a psychotic symptom. And so I tried to ask her to describe the difference between the two and specify whether it was an external voice, which would have been an hallucination, or an internal thought, which would have been an unwelcome, intrusive thought. And she said, except for on January 24th, what she was experiencing were thoughts rather than hallucinations.
Internal thoughts versus external auditory hallucinations. Is that right?
Yes.
Almost there. 404.
Now, defense
Almost
counsel
there.
asked you if before all of these medications and before all the treatment, if Lindsay Clancy was a happy woman. But didn't she go to Dr. Tufts in the first place because she was struggling?
Yes.
She was anxious about returning to work.
She picked the wrong doctor.
She had been
Plus, you didn't answer the question, yo.
having a very good time with her family that summer, but as the fall approached and Patrick's paternity leave expired and she was thinking about returning to work and scheduled to return to work,
Thank you, Maureen.
that made her anxious.
And so it's not as if Dr. Tufts went to her home randomly and handed her a prescription. She actually went to Dr. Tufts with some mental health concerns, and Dr. Tufts treated her, correct?
Yes.
And from your review of the records and from everything that you've learned in this case, including your interviews with her, is it accurate that Ms. Clancy never told any of her providers, any of her medical providers, or any of the hospitals that she visited that she had thoughts of harming her children?
That is my recollection, that she did not share that information with any mental health providers.
And in your review of the records for Dr. Tufts, nurse practitioner Delata, mental health workers Letitia Dukes, and also at McLean Hospital, isn't it true, isn't it accurate that in all of those records, it indicates that the defendant denied suicidal ideation, denied homicidal ideation, denied auditory hallucinations,
When did she deny?
denied visual hallucinations, except for saying that she felt suicidal in December?
Oh, this was in December.
Yes, that is accurate.
And
Like,
isn't it
when?
accurate that throughout those records, they all document, all those providers document that there are no signs or symptoms of psychosis that are either observable or that she reported?
Yes, that is accurate.
Now, you were asked about her visit to women and infants in Rhode Island, and defense counsel asked you if they refused to help her and told her to leave. But they did offer to help her, didn't they? They offered her 3 different programs. Isn't that correct?
Yes, they referred her elsewhere to programs that they thought were more appropriate for what was wrong with her.
And reading from page 9 of Exhibit 220 in the records, it states, currently she is complaining of insomnia and mental numbness, which she attributes to taking Seroquel. She desires to down titrate the Seroquel and work on getting better sleep. Because her symptoms occurred late in postpartum period and are not clearly related to perinatal factors, the patient was advised that the WIH-DHP, which would be the Women and Infants Hospital postpartum program, is not a suitable treatment facility for her. This was discussed with both patient and husband, and both are in agreement with this. Patient's husband feels strongly that patient has been over-medicated and misdiagnosed. Patient was offered several options for her, including inpatient treatment for medication management, a partial hospitalization program focused on general mental health, or continued outpatient management. Patient plans to follow up with her outpatient provider for guidance, correct?
Yes.
And so it was Patrick who said that she was over-medicated, correct?
Well, he was one of the 2 of them who said that. She also thought that she was over-medicated.
But the people at Women and Infants Hospital, the ones who are
We
doing
don't
the
really
evaluation,
care.
don't say
about
in their
Patrick's
diagnosis
opinion
that she
because
was over-medicated.
he don't.
They list adverse drug effects, correct?
They listed rule out adverse drug effects.
And what does it mean when they write in a diagnosis, rule out adverse drug effects?
It means it's possible, but it has yet to be confirmed.
And there's nowhere in the diagnosis any doctor or mental health professional saying that she was in fact over-medicated, correct? In the diagnosis portion here?
Voices for victims for
of
being
women
a
and
sucky
infants?
husband.
Yes, I'm sorry, women and infants.
Yes, I did not see anything like that.
And is there a difference between being over-medicated and having adverse drug effects?
Well, I think you're asking a medical question right now, and I'm a psychologist, not a medical professional, so I don't think I'm going to answer that.
Okay. Now, in the diagnosis, you stated earlier that there was general anxiety disorder, correct?
Among the diagnoses, yes.
And depression unspecified, rule out due to adverse drug effects, correct?
Yes.
So that means depression, but you have to look further into it to rule out or rule in whether or not the medication is having an effect.
Yes.
So that's not sure. That's not saying she's depressed because of the medication, correct?
They was just saying it's possible. Need to look into it.
And in this, what I just read to you, the defendant was telling them that she thought it was the Seroquel and she wanted to titrate down, meaning slowly go off of the medication, correct?
Yes.
And then she went to Dr. Tufts after this and to nurse practitioner Gelada, and nurse practitioner Gelada actually gave her a prescription to titrate down, correct?
Yes.
Exactly what the defendant was looking for, correct?
Truth teller. Probably
Yes, that's
leftover
correct.
chicken from yesterday's dinner. I'm hungry. I only had some stale frosted flakes for breakfast.
You were asked by defense counsel about the defendant getting worse and worse and worse. But was that between September and December, or was that in January?
I love tomato sandwiches.
It didn't begin until October when she began taking the medication. And she seemed to get worse and worse into November and December. And then following her discharge from McLean on January 5th, she seemed to be somewhat improved in different ways, including her sleep was better and her mood was slightly better and things like that. So if I had to describe it, it was
what
worse
grade?
from October into
that sounds
November
good,
into
Kimberly. I'm so
December, and then
hungry.
somewhat better and somewhat improving in January.
8th.
And you were asked by defense counsel
Oh,
about,
I remember the date.
you had mentioned cognitive behavioral therapy might be something that someone would look into, and he asked you if that was on the patient to do that, correct?
Yes, I think that's right.
Were you aware that there are searches on the defendant's cell phone where she looked up cognitive behavioral therapy or CBT therapy?
Yes.
And so she was actively engaging in her treatment and looking up that type of therapy, correct?
That was one of a number of things that she was searching for information on and looking for. Yes.
And despite searching for information on it and looking for, she never made an appointment, to your knowledge, for that type of therapy.
I have a
To my
leftover
knowledge, she did
pizza
not.
from 2 days ago. I need to throw away.
You were
From
asked
Pizza
about
Hut.
peritraumatic disassociation, about how a person feels outside of their body watching what they're doing. Did I describe that accurately?
Yes.
And in that scenario where someone might be experiencing that during a traumatic event, does that mean they're not in control of what they're doing?
Katie, thank you.
No, it doesn't mean that. It means it kind of influences their perception and their memory and so on, but it doesn't completely remove their self-control.
You were asked about psychosis and whether someone in psychosis would automatically act on a command hallucination.
I'm going to reset the
and
poll to
You said not
Good
be responsible,
afternoon.
and you said it depends. Is
If
that
you
correct?
can throw one,
Why does
go
it
to support
depend?
my platform and what I do here. If you can't tap
Because
and clapping and all that
symptoms
stuff,
of
we have been live
psychosis,
for hours
including
watching the
command
Lindsay Clancy trial.
hallucinations,
If you're in here
don't
and you don't follow
necessarily
me, that's
take
also
away
free.
your
Just hit the follow button.
knowledge, your understanding, or your self-control. They can in some instances, but in other
I'm
instances,
done with
they
it.
don't. And
I
one of
think
the
he has
things
said
that
all he
people
can say.
do to try to
Bye.
retain more control is
Okay,
things like distracting themselves, praying, doing other things that that basically make a difference in terms of supporting and boosting their self-control. And so there's no automatic connection between any mental disorder, including psychotic mental
Get on out of
disorders,
here.
and
Go
the legal
home.
standard for knowing that something is wrong or conforming one's conduct to the requirements of the law. That's why we go through all this in such detail.
Well, next question.
Doctor,
Even the judge is
can
like,
someone
freaking
who
next
is
question.
experiencing psychosis with a command hallucination, can
That's
that
way I'd
person
be
know the
on.
difference between right and wrong?
Yes.
It's outside, way outside the scope of questions.
Next question.
And can someone who is experiencing psychosis conform their behavior to the law?
Same objection.
No, overall.
In some cases, they can, yes.
And is that what you were talking about just a few moments ago, when someone can be in a state of psychosis, hearing a command telling them to do something, and they try to avoid doing what they're told to do?
Yes.
And you gave some examples, but someone trying to distract themselves with music or something like that, correct?
Yes.
I'm going to stop objecting, but I have
Is
a
there
standing
something on my
objection to the
throat?
leading.
What
judge.
is that?
My objection.
All right. It's redirect. I'll allow the Commonwealth to use a leading question to direct the witness
What
to
the
a certain
hell is
area
that?
of inquiry, and then just non-leading questions at that point.
I have nothing further. Thank you.
All right.
Has this trial given me a rash?
Sir, first of all, counsel was asking you a question about the inconsistent statement or what have you. You indicated, sir, if I stand corrected, you administered a test, the MMPI to her, right?
Yes, I did.
And one of the sub category.
Beyond the scope.
No, she asked about inconsistent statements.
So, yeah, overall.
Right, Bridget.
Is the K scale or the lie scale, right? Yes
I mean,
or no?
I just looked and
please,
it's
yes
like
or no.
right here, and I'm like, I don't have any clue what's.
The MMPI does have a K scale.
Okay.
Yeah, what is
And
that?
And
does
that
have an
measures-
L scale.
That measures if a person, to you as the administering psychologist,
That's weird, yo.
is bluntly lying. right?
No.
Okay. Does it also, in your testing, determine if the person is exaggerating their symptoms?
Yes, it's
Okay,
much
the answer is
closer
yes.
to
The
that.
answer is yes, thank you. And when you administered the test
It's
to
not touching
Lindsay,
it though.
close
in
to
the
3
middle.
years later, you indicated that it was the fact that it was late that you administered the test. It was testing her at the time
Thank
it
you,
was administered,
Tricia.
right?
That's right.
And one of the things that, the results, by the way, if I understand, looking at your transcript of testimony, is regardless of all of your explanations about MMPI and the other psychological testing, she was not elevated on anything except for suicide scale, right?
That's correct.
Okay. So she wasn't, according to the testing you administered when you saw her with Mac, exaggerating, lying, malingering, anything like
No.
that, right?
That's correct.
It doesn't burn or itch. I just now noticed it
And
just
one
by
of the things that
moving
you
in
did
the
in your
camera.
report, sir, is regarding the lying
didn't
and the
even know it
malingering,
was
is you made
there.
reference to, I believe,
It was
Dr.
there
Resnick, Philip
yesterday.
Resnick. You know him, right?
I do.
He's a significant authority in the field of filicide. Is
He's
that
showing
right?
the world my rash.
He is.
See?
And Dr.
I have a
Resnick
rash.
indicated, sir, that his opinion as to the lack of malingering, and as well as yours, right?
Yes, he did.
Okay. And you made reference to one of Dr. Resnick's articles, actually, in your report.
One more
correct?
day on the
Some of his research on
one more day.
The answer is yes. We can make this easy. The answer is yes. Did you look
I've used the
at
same
and
one
cite
for years.
Dr. Philip Resnick's research report?
No.
his research. Yes, I
Okay.
did.
Keep an eye on it.
And are you aware, sir, that what you cited is outdated? Are you familiar with the 2012 article by Dr. McCarthy Jones collaborating with Dr. Resnick talking about the largest study of hallucinations ever conducted in the world?
I'm aware that as a researcher, you build on some of the
No,
things.
not what us researchers do. Are you aware of that report?
No.
Okay. Are you aware, sir, that that study was after the report that you cited in your report, and it involved 191 individuals who were asked almost 400 questions about auditory hallucinations? You aware of that?
No.
They
And are you
got
aware,
one
sir,
more
that in
rebuttal
fact it was
witness.
determined that auditory hallucinations can come from within
It's going to be tomorrow.
and it can come from without in that report? You're not aware of that, right?
This is a commentary live, and if you don't like my voice, you can kiss my big white fat ass.
No?
Now get out.
Okay. Only other thing, there's been a lot of talk about how you had to wait, took a while. You had to get court orders to visit with Lindsay to conduct your investigation, right?
Yes.
Okay. You're not suggesting or trying to leave with this jury that it was me or my office that interfered or impeded. I think the question was that you were unable to see her. I had nothing.
I'm hungry. Do not mess with me.
No.
Yeah, come on.
Oh, Lord, we're having a sidebar. We need to go to lunch bar. We need to have a lunch bar. We're having a sidebar. 258 souls in the room. I changed the live goal. I think I did. To 10 of these good afternoons. If you would like to throw one and support a starving true crime content creator, then please do so. This is 3 hours, 23 minutes we've been live, which is not normal for me, but I promised you full coverage on this and that I shall give it to you. Darlene, thank you for the good afternoon. And another one from Darlene. Thank you so much, ma'am. And a third one from Darlene. Oh my gosh, thank you so very much. We are still in the sidebar. I know. I'm over this witness too. Like I don't know what else he could say. What else could he say? Wait, they said sidebar and not lunch, right? Did I miss what they said? Let me make sure what they said. Pretty sure this is a sidebar because they all just didn't stand there. They went to the podium. I mean, they went to the judge. Okay. Objection, sidebar. Right, Megan? Don't be messing with me and my hangry. So we need a lunch bar. Lunch bar. Side salad lunch bar. Yeah, bow girl. Bodacious bows. Bodacious bows is what I call them. Don't say Shoney's. Oh my gosh, that would be so good. Well, at least it don't want to make you drink the word bye. We're going to this. We're all over here at our own sidebar having a shot because we can't deal with this witness anymore. It's a bar over to the side where you go over and make a drink. That's what it is. It'll never happen, though. You can come in here and blue heart all you want, hun. Patrick's happy in New York with his doctor wife. He's moved on. Mm-hmm. All I'm thinking about is some chicken. I mean, the jury, it's 1 o'clock. Surely they can't be sitting there clearly straight thinking when nobody has eat lunch yet. Thank you for the donuts. My gift gallery is open too. We only need 4 more things to get the gift gallery. And I think what happens here, where I can't get the gift gallery fully lit up, is that there are galaxies, there's a well, there's a meteor shower, and a flying jets, which nobody can afford. So I'm like never going to get my gift gallery filled because TikTok wants to put unaffordable gifts in there. But if you happen to have a spare well, please throw it. I forget what it is. I just put it on. Girl, certified unbothered. I know. BBs, thank you so much. Thank you so very much. But certified. Yes. Everybody was like, oh no, Mama A. Is it Mama A is her name? Oh no, she died in a car accident. And I know where she got 4 or 5 kids. And I've seen her stuff, and I'm just going to say, I'm sorry for those children that they've lost their mother. But when you drink and you drive down the wrong way of the highway going 100 miles per hour and you hit a 20-year-old head on, it is hard to feel sorry for you.
All right. Well, members of the jury, we're going to take the afternoon recess at this point. We'll come back, call off the call, their last witness. So during lunch, you know the drill. Don't talk about it. Don't read about it. Don't listen to it. Put it out of your head, and we'll have you back here at 2 o'clock. Okay? Thank you.
Court, all rise.
I'm just watching. Usually they go up to the emblem by now. Did somebody forget to turn the camera? I'm just watching Lindsay talk to him and what her demeanor is.
Anything we need to discuss before 2 o'clock? Counsel? All right. See everybody at 2 o'clock. Thank you.
Lappy McLappy! Oh my gosh, I can't believe you've done that. Thank you so much. All right. time for lunch. Lappy, Lappy, thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right. All right. All right, I'm going to take the lunch break to it. I suggest you do the same. Thank you, Lappy. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I can't even believe it. Thank you so very much for that. I'll be back in 1 hour. We'll continue with the next witness. And tomorrow is closing arguments. Thank you, YouTube. I'll be right back in an hour. Come back and see me.